Hi. How was everyone here? Now, what's going on with y'all? Let's it's another exciting night, and it's another night of knowledge exchange and sharing and growing. So we got a banger today. Just like the heat that we've been trying to come with all year since we started back this class. We got one of them ones. So I hope everybody had a good week. If not, a great learning week, and a week that can give you some expansion for the next go round. Made some money, maybe spend some time with your family, as well as learned. So we're gonna get into this class this week. Tonight is called "Winter is Coming." There's a lot of things stirred up around our world and in our situations and in business and government. So this is an excellent time to really absorb the stuff that's going to be taught in class tonight, and to give you some food for thought, so that you can learn how to think in a particular strategic way. So let's get started with the first slide. So
before we get started, real quick, it's Shabisha's birthday, So in case y'all didn't know, her birthday was yesterday. That's family there, so I just want to make sure everybody online, make sure y'all give Shabisha a shout out online if you're on YouTube. Happy birthday, Shabisha!
Happy birthday, Shabisha!
Shamar, you want to sing a song? I'll be trying.
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Yes, so I want you guys to think about the theme, winter's coming, throughout this whole class, because it's going to allow you to really look at things from a secondary perspective, or a perspective you may not have seen before. So this first slide is called Black Swans and Red Herrings and the Law of Probability. So this slide comes from some deep conversations I've had, not just this week, but in the course of being here. And I think this week just came to a head, and I wanted to really address it again because I haven't yet this year. And it's almost perfect timing based on the whole scope of the class. But who knows what a black swan is? Everyone know what a black swan is? Would you like me to reiterate it? Black swan? Okay. So there's a book by Nassim Taleb, is his name? Mm-hmm. Nassim Taleb. He wrote a book about black swans. And black swans essentially is outliers in any event. So, most of the times you have a bell curve of people that behave in a particular manner, perform in a particular manner, execute things in a particular manner. They die at a particular age. Their life expectancy is a particular time. Their average scores on the average game is this much. If you take a large volume of people, they usually fit in a nice bell curve. Take 1 million people. How long does a million people live to give us an average life expectancy? Or what's the average income of a person? The average black person in America, what's their average income? And so we create these data sets, these data points based on volume. And that gives people who look at data, which are the people at the top, information that we need to make decisions. But there's always these outliers. Fucking things that just don't make sense. Like, what the fuck is that right there? It's this one blip right here. You got this whole bell curve of all these people who fit in this category. And you have this person right here. What is that? Say the average life expectancy for a human being is, right now, do you guys, anybody know? Guess? 75, 80?
78?
70 to 80. Let's say 70 to 80, right? But then they have what they call blue zones in certain areas of the world. You ever heard of those? Mm-hmm. Those are certain areas of the world where people live on average to 100, 110. And so what scientists do is say, what the fuck is going on over there? Because those are black swan. It's a black swan situation. So there's one in Italy where people are living to 100. And so they checking their diet out, seeing if they eat meat, if they're vegans, vegetarians, if they're exercising, if they don't eat pasta. They doing all this crazy stuff to understand their diet, to copy the mechanism, because they want to live longer like them. And they go over there and they realize, damn, they eat pasta like crazy. And they eat meat and they drink wine, red wine at every night. So what is the outlier? Because we doing that shit too, right? So because that's what black swans are. They're these outliers that make no sense. And so businesses essentially are black swans, because 70+% of businesses fail. All 70% of businesses fail. So if you build a business or a brand that's sustainably growing and generating revenue, then essentially that's black swan behavior. So it's an outlier. It's an outlier. If in my business 440 million kids want to make it into the NBA, there are only 60. There's 300 slots. It's about 400 now. So take 440 something million to 400 slots. So every single NBA player is a black swan, right? All the rappers that are out there in this world that want to make it big, the few that have music on Billboard charts and are generating large amounts of revenue, they're black swans. See what I'm saying? So that's black swan behavior. And so red herring behavior, what that is, so you got black swans and red herrings. So what a red herring is a distraction, is something that says to distract you from the main point. That's a red herring. So you have a black swan, which is an outlier, a red herring, which is something that's said to distract you in the law of probability. Law of probability means if I tell you there's a 90% chance that if I shoot from 10 feet away, it's going in. 90% chance. You have a 30% chance if you shoot from 30 feet for it to go in. 30%. 90%, 30%. Law of probability, because that's based on thousands and thousands and thousands of shots that's been shot both those places. So calculations and data knows you're more likely to make the shot closer than you are away. So for every 3 shots that you make up close, you only make 1 from 30 feet. So the law of probability is how logical data-driven people make decisions. Now, most of us humans, on the other hand, our decision making comes from our feelings. I just got a feeling. It felt good. And a lot of times we'll make feeling decisions on data-driven things. We'll make feeling decisions. And entrepreneurs, we have to make decisions based on probabilities, understanding the law of black swans, but we have to make decisions based on probabilities. That's also why We're talking about winter's coming. Because when does winter not come?
When you dead.
It even come while you dead. You just raining on your flowers, raining on your dirt. Winter comes. So if we always are thinking in terms of summer, or when things are good, we think this is going to last forever. We're losing sight of the way the seasons work. Winter's coming. Sometimes you got Indian summers. If you live in Seattle, shit, your winters are fucking most of the year long. You live close to the equator, that changes, but winter always comes. So let's go to the next slide. Go deeper into this.
Be the exception. Can you guys hear me? Be the exception, not the rule. Play the rules, not the exception.
Okay. Just remember this phrase. Be the exception, not the rule. But play the rules, not the exception. And let's break it down what that means. Be the exception, not the rule means if you want to make it in business, if you want to build a business that's growing and thriving, you have to commit to being a black swan. You have to do black swan shit, meaning you have to be an outlier. That's the life you're going to choose. You have to be an outlier. So the reason why a lot of my friends, we don't do the shit that most people do, because they over there on the bell curve. We out here playing the outlier game. The average person don't wake up and go to the gym. I'm going to the gym. The average person smokes. I'm not smoking. The average person drink. I ain't drinking. The average person's late. I'm not lazy. The average person don't read. I'm reading. Every day. If the average person does this, I'm not doing it. If the average person, I'm not doing it, because we're playing an outlier game. Playing an outlier game. If the average person can't save, I'm saving. Like most of the things that happen inside that bell curve space, it's a bell curve for a reason. And you don't have to grow up lucky to be an outlier or to be a black swan. You have to make a choice to. I consciously choose to make different decisions. And it ain't gonna be easy. That's what I mean by be the exception, not the rule. The rule is the bell curve. The exception is the black swan, the outlier. And that's what all of you are in the making, or already are, or on their way to be. My friends' natures, the friends that I have that I know for a long time that are maybe different today, but their nature, shit. This brother's nature versus who he shows up to be is two different things. His nature is in the bell curve, bottom of the bell curve. But you can't tell because he superseded the laws of the bell curve and worked his way, willed his way outside the bell curve into the outlier space through training, repetition, going hard at doing everything that the crowd wasn't doing. You don't have to grow up lucky or to be 7 feet or to be this or to be super good looking or to be none of that shit. You just have to make a conscious decision to not be in the bell curve. What's the average salary of the bell curve? Man, fuck that shit. Is the bell curve, are they happy? No, fuck that shit. Whatever you're having, I'm not. Wherever you are, I ain't. Wherever you partying, I'm not partying there. Because we trying to play this game. So that's what that means. Be the exception, not the rule. Now, it's not easy. Not easy. You wake up, Sometimes you're getting your ass whooped, dragged. And you can be like, damn, I could just go get a job right now. Or why am I doing this to myself? But back to remembering, oh, I'm playing this game, not this game. I'm playing this game, not this game. So that's part of your purpose. Be the exception, not the rule. Run into pain, run into uncomfortability. The bell curve seeks comfort, feel good, relaxation. I don't want no stress. I don't want no conflict. I don't want no pain. That's the bell curve. The black swans, you get comfortable seeking, because the more pain, the more challenge that happens, the further out of the bell curve you go. What the fuck is that one blip right there? What is that? I don't know. Like, let's look. And it's not talent. It's not specialty. It's, man, this person has been really, really going hard to transform their nature. So in your business, same thing. Be the black swan in your business. You want your business to grow? Think about being the exception, not the rule. Just microcosm it. What is everybody in your business doing? Well, when the customer walks in, most of the time they get this, and then they get that, and the customer get that, and this happens, and you give them this, they get a receipt, and then they leave out. You say, thank you, have a nice day. Okay, that's the bell curve. What are we going to do? What's the outlier of this? What can we do to create an outlier situation so that people like, have you been to this restaurant? Does anybody ever give you recommendations to a restaurant that's average as fuck? Mm-hmm. Man, hey, you got to go to this restaurant. Like, it's called Applebee's. Like, you go into Applebee's and like you walk in, it's like this 16-year-old girl like who greets you at the front. You go and you buy these mixed drinks that make your acid reflux go bad. Like, and
wait, what?
Nobody.
I'm sorry.
Nobody talks about average shit. If they give you a recommendation, it's always something they always give you an outlier. Go to this restaurant. Man, it's amazing. What do they serve? Man, they serve the best burgers. Damn. They must have really done their homework to separate themselves from fucking burgers. You gotta be damn good to separate yourself as a burger place.
That's tight.
Mm-hmm. I was at a hotel gym working out, and I seen this dude. He had an In-N-Out shirt with some In-N-Out socks working out. I'm like, so I said, hey man, I got a question, because you clearly look like you a In-N-Out advocate. And he was like, what's up? I said, I don't really eat that kind of shit, but why the fuck is In-N-Out line so crazy everywhere I go? Please give me some game. Like, teach me what y'all doing. And he's like, oh, I don't work for In-N-Out. He's like, but I do the compliance. I stamp them for whether or not their restaurants are clean enough to do business or not. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I've never in my life, I've been doing this for years, I've been to hundreds of restaurants, I've never given them below the top grade.
Wow.
He says they clean everything at the end of the night, spotless, and you're not required to do it.
Oh wow.
All the, not just the pots and pans, but the frying equipment, like every single thing gets taken out and cleaned to a T before it gets put back in. So he's like, if I have to guess, because I thought the same thing, my guess would be it just tastes fresh.
Oh wow.
It's outlier shit. So if you want your business to thrive, I want mine to thrive. If we all want our business to thrive, we always got to be thinking outlier, black swan, be the exception. I don't give a fuck what everybody else is doing. I'm just going to fall inside that haystack of other businesses. I need to be able to stand out with something. When we was doing the Black Vine hoodies, Fern was like, hoodies are fucking hoodies. Hoodies are hoodies, right? Billions of hoodies. Hoodies is a staple. But when Fern was like, I want some hoodies, what did you request? The hoodie it's a certain hoodie that just has a small little pocket inside the kangaroo pocket. It probably costs like 4 extra cents to sew. But the fact that it became the outlier because nobody else was doing it is now it's requested. And that's what people say all the time. Man, those hoodies that you got with the extra little pocket, that's the shit. 4 cents.
Come on, preacher.
If you can't understand how your business is like still blending in and all that shit with the crowd, and you can't get, it's because you're in the bell curve right now. You're in a bell curve. You're not playing the exception game. And that's what will help you to survive when winter comes. Because you will get chosen when winter comes. Now, the next line says, play the rule, not the exception. Red herring. So what does that mean? It means even though you're being the exception, when you're making decisions, you play the rule. You play the law of probability. So if I'm down by 2 and it's 4 seconds left and I got 90% chance of making this shot 10 foot away and 30% chance of making a 3-pointer. The 90%, I tie it, but I give 5 more minutes to play. The 30%, I win. What y'all gonna do? What you gonna do?
Am I Draymond Green or Steph Curry?
Steph Curry.
90%.
90%. 90%? You Steph Curry, and you hot.
I'm going to see, well, the problem is I'm really Shabisha, so I'm going to go 90% because I don't know that kind of flatness.
Can somebody be honest with me? Who wanted to, when you heard that person is Steph Curry, who internally before Nana said something wanted to shoot? Be honest. Wanted to shoot that 3. Wanted to shoot that 3. Mm-hmm. Wait, Steph Curry? Okay, we talking different now. It's Steph Curry. Mm-hmm. Guess what? Steph Curry makes that 3.43% of the time. Mm-hmm. 43. So as a business person, as a business mind, it's not scalable to play that Steph Curry game. Mm-hmm. It's scalable to play the law of probability. Get that bucket. Then we give it to Steph Curry. Get that bucket, then let's give it to Steph Curry. You see what I'm saying? And that's counterintuitive to how a lot of us are trained. The red herring is this. And some of y'all do that shit. So I'm calling your ass out, but not specifically. But when I say the sentence, you'll understand. I'll say, hey, take the 90% shot. And then you say, well, what about that time when Steph Curry did shoot it and make it? Mm-hmm. That's called a red herring. Start your business small. Well, what about that time when that person just started the business and it blew up in 2 days? That's a red herring. Mm-hmm. Start the business small. Why? Because law of probability, when you're in the game, you're playing the rule, not the exception. Law of probability says there's so much going on in the world of business that I have to learn. If I for any reason blow the fuck up and have no skill set to back it up, I'm fucked. I need to learn and grow as we scale. Hey, well, I'm just going to quit my job and start my music career. Yo, don't do that. Well, what about this artist who did it? What about that rapper who did it? What about this? That's called a red herring. That is a distraction statement that's pointing to a black swan and not the rule, not the bell curve. The highest probability that you can have. You're always shooting for the highest probability. We do this so much and it's so weird to watch. It's so weird to watch. That's why in dating we do it. I need a brother who makes $4 million a year. I'm just gonna wait for him. It's gonna happen. For real? What's the bell curve? He's a hardworking brother who works at WM and makes it, and a good guy and makes a good living. Oh, you gonna wait for the millionaire? You're playing the exception, and that's how we end up fucking unhappy and not where we want to be. If I can't have it like this, I ain't doing it. You're playing the exception game. What's the odds of you hitting one blip? What's the odds of you hitting it versus you got this pool that's full of the other stuff? So in business, in decisions, you're always you're playing against the rule. What's the highest probability in this situation? So that's the question you're asking yourself. What is the highest probability? What are my options? And what is the highest probability of it happening? What are my options? And what's the best decision? What are my options? What's the best decision? Not the decision I feel, not the decision I feel like, not the decision that I want really, really bad. That's not the decision that has anything to do with any of my feelings. It's what is the best move. What's the best move? Now you're playing the rules. Now you're playing the moves. Now here's the where it's tough for us. If we grew up in scarcity, as black folks in the hood, fucked up life situations, drama, murder, killing, crack, all the shit, we all feel like black swans.
Yeah, real talk.
If you escape crack, you're a black swan. If you didn't get killed, shot up, you're a black swan. If you ain't in jail as a black person, you a black swan. If you ain't a dope fiend right now, you're a black, like we can keep going on and on. So we already feel like black swans, like we've been playing this black swan game our whole life. So we so used to playing it that we keep playing it. We're so used to playing it that we keep playing it. So when it comes to other decisions, I'll find a job. I know I will. I always land on my feet. I got it. I'm just going to walk out on faith. And I'm not saying that walking out on faith is not a good thing, because walking out on faith can be good. But if that is your go-to for the game that you're playing in business, that eventually when winter comes, shit, that might be used up for hella other people, and there may not be none left for you. Then what? So you understand, you got to play the probability game. Well, I'm putting money away. I'm saving for this. I'm doing this for this. I got extra flashlights here. I got extra batteries underneath here for here. I got redundancy here. So if this thing falls through, I got another one and another one. I got runway here. So if something was to crash or burn, I got 6-8 months of money stacked away. Like you're playing a probability game. It's like a prenup for life. Everything that how you moving in life, you're thinking about what is my best decision? What's the best move in this situation? You love your child. Maybe you and the parents aren't together, but you love your child and you want your child to have the best upbringing that child could possibly have with two people who aren't together. But the reason why you may not be together is for a particular reason. Maybe she pissed you the fuck off. Maybe you piss her the fuck off. Y'all can't talk to each other. In one of those situations, you just had enough and you ready to cuss her the fuck out because it feels good. But what's the best decision? What's the best decision in this moment? Best decision in this moment is to figure out a way that I can make amends. Figure out a way where I can have a good relationship. Hell no. Not my baby mama. No. The best move. The best move. Say you sorry. I ain't saying I'm sorry like a little kid. I'm not saying I'm sorry. Then say you sorry. Even though you wasn't wrong, fix that shit. Why? Not because we playing the right and wrong game. It's because it's the best move for your child. This game is counterintuitive to our nature, right? Because the nature part, shit. So that's the game that you got to play. And watch out for red herrings, your internal red herrings. Watch out for you saying if we had $1 for every time somebody said that to us, anytime we gave them some advice, we'd be millionaires 2 times, 3 times over. Why? Because the first thing when something punches somebody in the chest or the gut, that's the truth. What saves your self-value is to find the exception. Well, what about this thing? You talking about the 1 in a billion thing? That 1 in a billion thing? Yeah, well, go ahead. Shoot your shot. See what happens. Shoot your shot. I'm not going to argue with you. Go shoot your shot. And then come back and let's have a good conversation and tell me what you learned. Like lottery tickets, yes, people win. Yes, people win. Yes, people win the lottery. Billions of dollars. People win billions of dollars in the lottery. Do you play? Do you play? Well, what about that one person that won? Yep. Go put your whole check on it then. Put your whole paycheck on it then. So I'm not telling you what to do or what not to do, but I'm saying in business, you have to move more robotic than you think when you make decisions. You look at data and you evaluate what's the best decision. Next slide. Did I beat that up enough?
Pause.
That was crazy.
That was wild.
That was crazy.
It was. But I guess if you got to ask, you didn't, right?
hey, that's hey. I'm not.
Anyways. I set myself up. All right. The problem with recipes. So it leans over to another issue, and that's recipes. I've been on this specific diet for the last 2 months, so a lot of shit that I want to eat that I would typically buy in the store, I gotta make because there's certain ingredients I can't use. So I gotta make the shit. So I go on YouTube and follow the recipe, you know, and this is one particular thing, man. That motherfucking thing, it would come out terrible every time. And I'm following the recipe. 1.5 cups of this, 1/4 cup of this. I memorize it. I've done it so many times, and I failed every time. So my second iteration was maybe the brands that she's using and the brands that I'm using, even though they're the same, maybe my brands are having an effect on the outcome. So I went on Amazon and I bought her exact fucking brands. Did it. Failure. Massive. Still fucking came out liquid and fucked up. So I'm thinking, okay, she has this expensive ass stir thing, whatever the fuck that's called. What is that thing?
The mixer?
Mixer. She has this nice mixer. So I bought the mixer she have. Cause I'm trying to figure out everything. Bought the mixer. Now mixer coming. There's almost nothing that she's doing that I'm not doing. Boom, mixer. This is gonna be dope. Guess what? Wah, sing. So I'm cussing at her. I'm cussing at like you a liar, like you're bullshitting me. This is sorcery because there's no way my shit should come out like this and your instructions is telling me different. So I quit for a little bit. So like, because after like 7 times and like 100 eggs and like hella expensive shit, eggs is expensive. I'm like, let me figure this out. So after continuous tweaking, you know what I realized? There's moisture in the room. And the moisture in my room, after doing crazy amounts of reading and research, and finally finding people who was dumb enough to do the same shit I did on message boards and fucking groups, I found a video where she said, oh, by the way, if you live in a region where there's moisture in the room, the moisture in your environment can destroy and flatten this whole thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I mean about recipes. So if you go to somebody and they tell you, here's all you need to do. It's all you need to do. Here's all the steps. That's why most of that shit don't work. If you happen to get lucky where you happen to be in the right environment and you happen to have all the ingredients and the same expensive ass mixing shit, if you happen to have that, then yeah, it'll come out. And then you know what that person will do? Bring you on stage to give a speech about it, to make all the people, the red herring minded people say, see, he did it. Recipes don't work. You have to learn the concept, the why. If I was to say, hey, the humidity in the room had to be, the reason why this bread has to be X, Y, and Z is because the reason why it rises like this is because there's a humidifier thing that happens. So you have to watch the humidity. Oh, I didn't know. Now I know the why behind it. If I'm just following the exact recipe, you ain't gonna get there. That's the problem with recipes. You can have identical shit and still be off. So if Nana gives you a recipe to do something, here's the biggest part. You ain't Nana. You ain't him. Because he may pull from some shit that his mama told him when he was 7 years old that he just forgot to tell you. He may pull something from a bully that he got into a fight with when he was young that he forgot to tell you, that's just now embedded into his system. And it might be 60 or 70 more of those that just forgotten about. So all recipes are invalid. The whys behind shit is way more important. That's why we teach the thinking behind shit, not the recipe. Here's a thinking behind it. Now you can take you and mix in the you in this with the thinking to help find your own recipe. Just don't get up and start giving other people recipe to your success, because it ain't gonna work for them. But the whys is the whys. Next slide.
Well, before you, oh no, bro, that you can't. No, hold up. Don't you change that slide. So let's have a conversation. Where do you find recipes often given out in society that's gimmicky? Let's just call it for what it is.
How to be successful.
Most of the programs who teach business and success, they hand out recipes. Most people are addicted to now when they learn about business. Even when you guys ask questions, you guys ask for the recipe. You guys don't really want to know how to think, right? Like a lot. I'm not saying hopers. Hopers have bought into it, but a lot of people who've listened to this class and be like, "Where's the recipe at?" They didn't say recipe, but they want to say, "How do I get rich? How do I change my life? How do I come out of depression? How do I fix this? How do I fix my relationship?" And then what happens is that you guys spend a lot of money on people who give recipes. Now, here's the thing with recipes. I'm going to keep it without calling out any names. You guys can come with all the names you want. I'm not going to do it. But recipes can sound so charismatic. There's a saying just because I'm serious don't mean I'm right, or it doesn't mean I'm deep. Some people say something like, I'm going to tell you something, I'm really serious. And what you need to understand is that apple is really an orange. Think about that. You'll be like, oh, he's right. I don't care about my facial expression, how serious I am. I didn't make any fucking sense, right? And the reality is that many of you guys are addicted to recipes. And so when I keep saying to you guys, hey, and when you guys find something that's equivalent to hope, that's really what I'm saying. Is somebody's teach you how to actually see beyond the recipe, how to think where the pattern comes from, right? There's a lot of principles we've been teaching this since class started. It's about marketing. It's about hospitality. It's about service. It's about scaling. We taught you all those principles, but what we didn't do is give you the recipes. We're giving you the substance behind the recipe so you can create the recipe that works for you. And that is something that most of these entrepreneur classes fail at. And I promise you, think about anyone you can think of. 99.9% of the self-help books are recipes. That's why I don't like self-help, because it's like, there's a thing is that all of our problems have variations. They may all rhyme, but they have major, major variations. And don't assume because we rhyme, it's the same challenge. So I'm just saying, like, for him to tap into this, hopefully you guys really just double tap on this in your mind. Are you looking for recipes? Are you looking for the thought behind the recipe? And that's not going to be as easy. Recipe is just like, put this much salt in there. But the thought behind it is, why that much salt? How does salt work? Like, if you don't have those different layers, then how do you adjust it if you have to cook for 100 people? How do you adjust it if you're in different weather? How do you adjust it if you don't have all the ingredients or you don't have those mixers? How do you adjust it and still get the same results? It's because you own the thought behind the recipe. So I just want to say, I was not going to let him pass up on that. That was a very powerful subject.
Thank you, bro. Next slide.
Know thyself. What does it really mean?
Okay, so we're in the book then. We're in chapter 4 of emotional agility. So what's the next? Go to the next slide again. Okay, next, go back. So I guess we didn't put it. So we're in the world, chapter 4 of emotional agility. So the know thyself part is apparent in this moment. So what does know thyself really mean? What does know thyself mean to you? Anybody? Any guesses?
Accept whatever shows up in you.
accept wherever shows up in you.
The stuff that you like, the stuff that you don't like, accept it all.
Okay. Anybody else? Give her the mic.
Learning your triggers and understanding how you show up to certain situations and watching your patterns.
Mm-hmm. Good. Anybody else? That's pretty much the gist of it. Is you have to know and learn the body you're in, the mind you have, the tendencies you have. How tall are you? What's your reach? What's your reach? How high can you jump? How flexible are you? Where are your limitations at? Where do you excel? Where are you a black swan? Where are you at the bottom of the bell curve? And every data point in between. Once you know that, that's a superhero mechanism that you have now. You'll appear superhuman. Just that by itself, knowing your strengths and weaknesses. Have you ever remember Scottie Pippen? Remember Scottie Pippen? Mm-hmm. Who's young enough to know Scottie Pippen? You had Michael Jordan on the team and you had Scottie Pippen, right? Scottie Pippen is a perfect example of not knowing thyself. Michael Jordan created space for Scottie Pippen to be great. So if you were in that era, did you ever for a second almost think that, damn, Scottie Pippen is just as good as Jordan? Mm-hmm. Damn. Just as good as Jordan. Because when he was on the floor, the shit he would do, the mistake, when Jordan would make a mistake, he'd clean it up. When Jordan needed him, he was there. When he had to take over sometimes, he took over. But the minute Jordan was gone and he had the team by himself, that's when you realize, damn, he ain't good right there, or he didn't know how to do that, or he messed up right there, or he didn't know how to do that. How come his teammates kind of give him a blank stare, glassy look? Because sometimes being next to the person can make you forget that you got limitations. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You got limitations. Mm-hmm. You got to know, damn, I'm a second guy. He's a first guy. Mm-hmm. If the first guy leaves, I'm not trying to step up to be a first guy. I'm going to find another first guy because this is where I thrive. Mm-hmm. This is where I thrive. Well, you deserve it. Shouldn't you be the first guy? No, it ain't about deserving. That's feeling. The best move is that I thrive here because I know myself. And I do better when somebody is running the show. That's truly knowing yourself. I met a woman before. She told me something dope. She was like, I've tried running businesses before, but I've learned that I'm a great support system to an entrepreneur, but I'm not the entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. That's dope. That's dope. I know that, like, I've studied myself so many ways. I know that where the places where I'm an outlier and a black swan, and I know places where I'm the dumbest motherfucker in the room. Mm-hmm. And everything in between. So sometimes people be like, Corey, how come you ain't doing? Because it won't be cute. And sometimes you have people who say, don't talk bad on yourself like that. You can do anything. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I know that. I know that we all have potential to grow at everything we do. And I'm going to continue to do it as I've been doing it. But that's also part of knowing where you are. If I'm 30% behind a three-point line and Nana's 48%, what am I going to do? The best move. What's the best move? Pass it. We need that bucket. That's knowing thyself. I know my scores. If I know I get to this elbow, maybe I'm trash everywhere else, and we need a bucket. And he's a star player, but I know at this particular spot at the elbow, because my dad, whoever taught me from 3 years old at this spot, and that's just my spot. No matter if I'm having a bad game or not, and maybe I got 0 points, and he's hot, and we need a bucket to tie the game. If I'm at this elbow, people might be like, pass it to the star. Nope, I'm shooting this shot. I know it's going in because I know myself. That's how you play the game. And if you insert your feelings in there and you start feeling, what's going to end up happening is you're going to be making these flip-flop decisions, these bad decisions, and you're not going to understand why shit ain't going. Know yourself. I mean, know your strengths, weaknesses, that means you also know how to hide your strengths. You know how to accelerate your weaknesses, quietly work on them in the dark until you get them up to speed. Like, you'll know all the things. If you're oblivious to it or blind to it or delusional to it, then you ain't going fucking nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. Back on Jordan, like Jordan was getting knocked around. Jordan couldn't shoot three-pointer. As they slowly figured that out, they started making strategy towards it. Guess what he would do in the summer? Work on that thing. Come out in the next season, killing them with the thing that they thought he wasn't good at. So you work on your shit. Some of you don't know how to apologize or take responsibility for your shit or take radical responsibility for anything right now, and the world has kind of moved and responded around you because of that, or they don't mess with you because of it, and then you show up one day and be like, you know what? That was on me. I apologize. What? What'd they do with Ben? What happened to Ben? No, I'm here. I've just been working on myself. It's crazy. That's know thyself.
It reminds me of the final dagger shot that Steph Curry did in the Olympics this year. They showed the actual court. LeBron and Durant were open. It was the only time in history you would ever see those two open, and he took the shot. It's because the percentage was, you're correct. It would have a higher percentage than both of those, but it's hard to believe you wouldn't pass to those two at that time.
Best move, best decision. Any questions on know thyself?
I got a funny story.
Yep, I want to hear it.
So I'm like a beginning photographer, but I have the honor of being able to follow a bunch of really cool photographers around and watch what they do. And I booked some headshots. And Dre was telling me, oh, you should probably study, you know? And I was like, I got this, I know what I'm doing. He was like, nah. He's like, just because you follow us around and watch what we do, like, that don't mean that you're one of us. Like, that's a rare honor that you have, but you should probably do some studying. So I did my studying, and I did my headshots, and they were still kind of trash. But I really, like, made realize, like, you know, like, just because I get to hang around and watch what y'all do, like, I'm not y'all.
That's real. That's a great story. Great story. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Know thyself. Same with addictions. Same with things that can hamper and interrupt your progress and growth. If you ignore the fact that you got addictions and shit that you can't like resist, you're ignoring yourself. Work on that shit best way you can. And if you can't work on it, stay the fuck away from it. Hey man, throw this in the trash. Throw it in the garbage. Pour it down the toilet. Dude, I don't want it around me. Cause I know right now I'm not there. download apps that won't even allow you to go on that site. Download this to make you not even allowed. You do what you have to do until you do what you want to do. Do what you have to do. So if you don't know yourself and you're ignoring yourself, or you delusional, or you like, oh no, or you're not playing a probability game. You're playing the delusion game. And again, that's not scalable. Not scalable. Next slide.
Acceptance is a prerequisite for change.
So there you go. What you were talking about. Self-acceptance. Self-acceptance says, I learned myself. I know myself. And shit, man. I got an A+ over here. I got F over here. I got D's, all D's and C's over here. Like, I know myself. Now, what a lot of people do from that perspective is they get depressed. Oh man, I'm a loser. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm not. No, self-acceptance says, I accept myself, scars and all. I accept it all. I love, if I'm too tall or too short, too skinny, too fat, too this, too that, I accept all of me. I accept it all. We got this. We in this body. And I know it. I understand who I am. And now I'm ready to work. Once you know that, now you can really play the game. Remember I said, it makes you a superhero when you know yourself. Think about players like Luka Doncic. His vertical leap is not crazy. He's not fast. He's not quick. He don't got crazy handles, but he knows himself so well. He knows what he can and can't do with his body. So I'll bump you a little bit, then make a move because I know I'm heavy. I use what I know myself. I use what I got to my advantage. If I'm quick, I use my speed. If I'm strong, I use my strength. If I'm powerful, I use my power. If I have stamina, then I'm just going to tire you out and then beat your ass in the last round. Like, I know myself. If I got lots of endurance, then I'll endure and let you punch it out. If, like me, if I'm just a knockout dude and I only got 5 minutes, then I got to get you the fuck out of there in 5 minutes. If not, you're going to drag me. I know myself. Because I'm not doing this shit for hella long. So I'm trying to get you out. I know my clock starts as soon as it happens. I got 5 minutes. So, like, know who you are and use all those things to your advantage. In business too. If you need a partner, get one. If you need help in this department, find something. You need consulting here. You can't do everything. You're not great at everything. So, but self-acceptance is like, I am. Yes, I am. The universe says I am. But law of probability and realities and your output says that ain't it. It's not true. So self-acceptance makes you look like a superhero because you get to mask, fill in the void of, and suppress all the places where you're weak. Where the average person, their ego too big to even do it. Come on, man. Like, I don't know what the fuck else to say. Superhero that I don't think anyone's ever said to you that figuring out where you suck at and where you weak at turns you into a superhero. In business and even in life. It's real. So that's why in the Bible it talks about those who come last will come first. It's because once you acknowledge, and you're humble enough to acknowledge where you are, it gives you the ability to come first. Or else you're just playing the lottery. Next slide.
Life is inseparable from its fragility.
Life is inseparable from its fragility. So a lot of times, a lot of us don't want to play this game of life on hard. We want to play it on easy. We want to play it on easy. What good is winning the game on easy? You're in the bell curve. What separates you is knowing how fragile this life is, understanding how fragile this life is. And when I mean fragility, I mean from all aspects. Life is fragile, period. You could be here today, croak tomorrow. It's fragile emotionally. You can be happy today and sad tomorrow. You can be rich today, poor tomorrow. You could be one decision. The fragility is a thin line between one decision that can have you on this side of the line or that. It's fragile. That's what makes life fragile. But it's also what make it amazing. But if you want the big shit, you want the success, you have to understand that you can't separate the two. The dance is being able to dance on either side, being in both sides, being in hell sometimes. Being in hell sometimes and learning how to navigate out that motherfucker. Can't separate it. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was listening to their life, oh yeah, well, they go to work, bills is paid easy, job salary, just stay up under what they make. The weekends they chill, they have just a boom, 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 boom life. But then they complain that it lacks purpose. Well, you have to exchange that. You have to exchange some of that security and play some of that fragile game and risk sometimes being hurt, risk sometimes failing. You can't separate the two. Stop trying to reason with it. Especially any of you guys who have any kind of Christian background, who've read the Bible, it's full of drama. And violence and funk and bad decisions and ego and killing, and it's full of it. And what I learned from the Bible is that, which gives me hope, is that some of God's favorite people was just some straight dumbasses sometimes. True. Some of God's favorite, that's on his list of people, made some of the dumbest moves, biggest mistakes. So understand, living a life free of fragility is not a well-lived, happy life. It's not. You were caught in the bell curve. Next slide.
Self-compassion is one of the most important tools for your success in business and life.
Man, I was on one. I put 3 exclamation marks at the end of that motherfucker. I was on one. Self-compassion. Self-compassion. Meaning you have to understand that the previous slide exists. So if you understand that the previous slide exists, then you're able to give yourself compassion for when life doesn't go the way you want it to go, or when you're not where you want to be, or when shit happens. You have to be able to give yourself compassion first. Well, I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better. But I have compassion for myself. I'm a 7 today. I'm a 4 today. It's just what it is today. We get better. Now, it's a difference from making excuses for yourself or subsidizing being weak or being mediocre. It's different. It's having compassion for yourself, creating space for yourself to accept yourself. Oh man, okay, well, shit, we are where we are today. What's the game plan? Am I alive? Can I walk? All right, what's the game plan? Next slide.
Self-acceptance, self-compassion, self-forgiveness, self-love, high self-value.
Okay, so this looks like a formula, right? So it's similar to a formula of how to get to high self-value. This is what the book talks about. To get to high self-value, you have to start with self-acceptance. So we've been working through this slide, through this whole time to get to what this formula looks like for you. To get to high self-value, you got to start with self-acceptance. Again, self-acceptance gives you a superpower. Another word for superpower, high self-value. Starts with self-acceptance. I am where I am. I am where I am. And where am I? Where am I? If I said, where you trying to go? Well, I'm trying to get to LA. It sounds crazy to say this, but this is what a lot of us do. I'm trying to go to LA. Oh, you trying to go to LA? Okay, well, can you give me directions to get to LA? All right, bet. Where are you right now? Can you just give me directions to get to LA? Okay, but where are you? Man, come on, man. Just give me directions. Do you understand? I can't give you directions until I know where your starting point is, where you are. That's not how. There's other people that could do that. Okay, well, let's just say you're in Oakland right now. I'm not in Oakland. You're standing right here in Oakland, right? I'm not in Oakland. They'll literally say they're not in Oakland, standing in Oakland.
That's true.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Self-acceptance says 7:17 p.m. on Wednesday. I'm sitting here at Alameda College in this room number, whatever it is. I want to go to LA. Now my GPS can calculate in 5 seconds how long it's going to take me to get there, which exit to take, all that. Now you just instantly change the game. Without self-acceptance, does not work. Some of us are broke as fuck but won't admit it. You won't even look at your bank account. Hella in debt, don't even know because you won't even tally it all up. Burnt relationships and don't even know because in your mind, you're fine. On the verge of getting fired or losing shit and you don't even, in your mind, you're fine. Because there's no self-acceptance there. So how can this class does nothing because you don't have a starting point of where to start. I don't understand. We're not in Oakland. Okay, we're not in Oakland then. It sounds crazy, but it's literally the exact conversation that we have sometimes with some people. But just take out Oakland and take out LA and put business results and where they are right now in their business.
Man, come on. Stab to the heart.
I ain't sold a mother, like, how much have you sold? All we're trying to do is get to self-acceptance.
Yeah.
How much have you sold yet?
Come on, everything.
This person likes it. I know, but how much have you sold? Well, these people like it. You see we see how it's such a correlation? We're doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
How much have you sold? 5. Okay, now we're there. I'm not even dogging you out for the 5. Now we got a starting point. Now let's get to work. Now we can cook. But I need to know where start. That's self-acceptance. Self-compassion says it's okay that you sold 5. Don't even feel bad. You in a fight. You in this game, and that's more than 99% of the people who are out there, you going after some shit. So yeah, fuck it. Be proud of that motherfucking 5. So forgiveness means don't feel bad or think you're a failure or feel any kind of way because of the 5. Forgive yourself for whatever you don't know or you're not doing. Forgive yourself. Because we gonna get it now. Self-love gives you confidence at that point. Now, yeah, we gonna get it. I got it. You know why I got it? Because if I can sell 5, I can sell 50. If I can sell 50, I can sell 500. If I can sell 500, I can sell 5,000. I just need to get better, and I need strategy and formula. And self-love, you walk around with self-love, you automatically gonna radiate high self-value. And now your product's gonna have high self-value. How you execute's gonna all move with high self-value. But that is the formula. Any questions on that? Next slide.
The cornerstone of emotional agility is to use the beginner's mind to approach new experiences.
So the thing is, we walk around too much as experts. I'm gonna tell you something. As an entrepreneur, you will never, ever, ever fucking be an expert. So get that out your head. You'll never be an expert. If you get good at something where you're generating revenue, even seasons can change. Industries can change. And now you're a baby again. So you always move with the baby's beginner's mind. I don't know shit. I'm a baby. I'm learning just like you. Always have a book in your ear or next to your bed. Always be reading, always be learning, and always be trying to look for somebody to sit up under to get game from. Always. Because when seasons change, industry changes, markets change, and you were such caught up in being the expert in this one thing, now you ass out. But a beginner, you're constantly ear to the streets because you're constantly learning. So emotional agility is a beginner's mind. Emotional agility is a beginner's mind. You don't know. So you don't know nothing. You're curious. A beginner's mind is synonymous with curiosity. Word? That's true? Where'd you learn that from? Send me the link to that book. Let me find out. There's things that I learned about nutrition in the last 60 days that completely turned my whole mind upside down about what I thought was true. Completely upside down. But a resistor's mind, like, nope, I know that. I've been doing this. I know. You don't know shit. None of us do. These are all theories, and we all have some baseline knowledge about what we want to do and where we want to go. But we're just babies. So let's act like it. Let's approach each other like it. Let's have conversations like it. Let's tear things apart like it. This is what I know so far. What do you know? Most of it agrees, but some of it conflicts. I wonder where'd you get that part from? Where'd you get that part from? Babies, beginner's mind. Next slide. Last thing we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about the grit part first. We're going to talk about the grit part first. a prerequisite to being an entrepreneur, you have to have grit. You got to have a ton of it, unlimited amounts of it, to be able to withstand and go through sometimes the hell that business brings, the failures that business brings, the wanting to quit that business brings. You got to have a hell of a lot of grit. How much? The more the better. The more the better. Because like we said in a few weekends ago, none of us are special. Just some of us tried more times than you quit. We just never stopped trying. Some of us just tried more. Some of us just hard-headed. Just wouldn't give up. So that's a testament to having grit. You gotta have it. You can't last as an entrepreneur without it. Meaning you get knocked down, how many times do you get up? You get knocked down, how many times you get knocked down, how many times? So grit means how many ever I need to get up until I get where I want to go. That's what grit is. And if you have purpose, then that adds fuel to your grit. If you have purpose, that adds fuel to your grit. So let's take a general example. How many have kids? Kids? Only 2 people in here have children? Okay, 3 people. So the ones who have children, what's the limit? Where's the limit of how far you go for your kids?
Death.
I heard, Nana said death. Death. So can you believe that shit? It is unanimous that the limit that people will go for their kids is death. That's fucking grit, right? That's what grit is. Oh, there's no limit. There's no limit. The amount what I do for work in order to take care of my family and my kids, what I do to make sure that they're fed, clothed, housed. There's no limit to what I do. There's no limit to what I do to protect them. There's no limit to what I do to curate a life that they can grow up healthy. There's no limit. So whatever you got to do to backfill that, most people do it, and not for a week or 2 weeks or 2 months, a year. They doing it for the 18 and sometimes for the 22 and 23s and 24s. Mm-hmm. That's grit. Mm-hmm. That is fucking grit. So it's inherent to us to have grit. But you can't, in business and entrepreneurship, you can't not have it. You catch a failure, somebody doesn't like your product, you lose, angry customers, whatever the fuck that is, you have to have the mentality of, I'm going to get up and I'm going to get better, however much it takes. I'll die on this motherfucker. That's a little extreme, but that's the sentiment. Some of us had taken penitentiary chances as kids. You was willing to do that then. Over just some money. So use that same grit when it comes to your business. Now, the quit part, just like there's no absolutes. There are times when you have to walk away. There are times when you have to walk away. And so next week, we're going to talk about those times. Those times where you might be a good idea to, or you might want to evaluate, because again, we're looking for the best move, because sometimes your ego will get in the way. The pride gets in the way, and the best thing to do might be to exit left. But I didn't want to separate. I wanted to separate them because I want to explain how much grit, how important grit is in what we do first. And then there's some times where we got to walk away. All right? Peace.
I was watching a video, and it was a woman, and she was sharing, just to summarize it, she was sharing how some things were going on with her marriage, and she needed to make some adjustments to how she was showing up. But one of the things that she said was that because of some things that were going on, she had kind of like dropped into certain ways of being, and that felt very familiar to her. And that when she started making the changes, it felt like your body is contorted in the wrong way. And she was saying, "This feels like I'm like this," and her person that was working with her was like, "Actually, no, that's what it is to stand up straight. You just are so used to being kind of like what she was calling it, like your needle is so used to being off the record that when you're actually in the right groove, the way it feels to your body and the way it feels to your mind is like the total opposite. So you feel like, remember those old, I don't know, I guess we all remember the V8 commercials? Hell, it's like you've been walking, kind of leaning to the side for so long that when you make the adjustments to stand in proper form, it feels off. And I thought that that's really appropriate to everything we just went over in the last hour, because it is so counterintuitive, and also it's so unpopular, right? It's not, it's like the bell curve is not effective, but it is so prevalent that to do it, like those behaviors just feel so counterintuitive, and you feel like you're kind of walking off to the side because maybe you've been in the bell curve, or maybe you didn't get there yet because you're newer to business, but it's like, it don't feel, I'm not in the bell curve, but it don't feel like anything I've ever done before. So I feel like every time I come in here, it's like you walk off a little to the side, but that's really straight. But I'm so used to not being straight that you kind of have to let so much that gets said in here settle. But usually walking out of here on Wednesday nights, like things feel like it's leaning off to the side a little bit. But because so much of this is not in our culture, like even like exceptionalism, right? Even if you don't come from the hood, most black folks are used to being one of, right? So there's exceptionalism that doesn't necessarily look like it's in the hood, but it's like, I was the only black kid in my class. I was the only, the one in my family who went the farthest, right? Maybe nobody went very far, but there's so much exceptionalism in the black experience because of where we are, and we're still climbing as a people, that your parents, most people don't have married parents or have parents that stuck together. So you're the exceptional one who did that. Most people, parents maybe didn't go to school. My parents went to school. You're like, there's so much exceptionalism like in our culture that is just normal for us, but it's so detrimental to us if we're trying to build anything. And I was sitting here like, this is all feels like this, but it is. Your position so much better with the game that we get in here, but when you first hear it, it just feels so fucking off. Like your body feels like, I don't know about this shit. Like I feel like I'm leaning to the side. These things they're saying to do feel so outside of it, and it's not like emotionally. It is. Hell, this shit is crazy. Like if this is, because if it's supposed to be great for me, it would feel better, right? Wrong. Like it's so counterintuitive. So I like, you just don't hear people saying like recipes are bad. Like self-acceptance is how you do better in business and position yourself well. Because most of the time it's like, what does that self-acceptance or knowing myself even have to do with business at all? And when people talk about it, it's like 5 seconds in like a broader thing of like do the things. So there's just so much in here that the way business is presented couldn't be more counterintuitive. It's not like counterintuitive a little bit. Most of it is like so far from what you would be able to pull up now. Even if you were to go into like ChatGPT or Claude and ask it, how would you do it? It's not this. These are not, unless you ask it a lot, like, why didn't you put this? And they'll be like, oh yeah, I should have said that. But it's like so many layers deep that oftentimes it feels like, what are they even talking about? I just want to know how to sell some jelly beans. Like, I don't want to do all of this. I'm not, like, I have to become a better person in order to be effective at this. Like, it just is amazing how awkward it feels to implement 90% of what gets said in here.
You know what's so crazy? Once you get used to it,
Exactly.
it's like, changing the way I eat. I think I was telling Shakina about some of her strategy, and I was like, hey, instead of teaching people what to eat, talk to them about the process of changing how you eat. Mm-hmm. Right? Because most of us don't know what that feels like. Like, you like what you like, you don't like what you don't like, right? And then you kind of stern on, like, this is what I want to eat or this is what I don't want to eat, right? So many of us don't really know how to live in a world where we're going against what we like, what we want to do, right? And so, but once you get used to eating, like once I get, like, for example, I drink Coke Zero once in a while, right? And if you were to give me a regular Coke, I probably would think it's the worst tasting. But before I drink Coke Zero, back when I was drinking sugar, Coke was amazing. Now, if you give me a Coke today, I'd be like, I can't drink this stuff. This is syrup. And even Coke Zero, I got to water it down. I got to go 50% sparkling water, 50% Coke Zero, because I need that flavor to come down. But like that once you make these adjustments and first figure out how to make those adjustments, just know that then going back is going to become awkward. Like all those awkward behaviors, like I can't imagine my old patterns. My old patterns feel depressing to me. And because I see them in other people, and because I have compassion, like, yeah, I mean, I used to do that. I'm like, I couldn't possibly even like imagine that ritual, those habits and that behavior today. So it's just one of those things where, how is Josh so damn loud and he's supposed to be controlling sound? I don't even understand it.
Wait, why you look like you just got caught stealing?
Like, like, he making hella noise, walk right in between our conversation. I'm like, does he not? Is he? Oh my God. Trash. That's my biggest word. Trash. I'm just cutting people off this year. Trash. So when you go home, be like, yeah, that was trash, but I'm not gonna validate this long dialogue. Anyway, so yeah, you're right. I remember when I first was exposed to my mentor, and he was sitting in front of the my building teaching me. I remember calling him a sellout. I disagreed with him. I went through a whole soliloquy of why I thought he was crazy. It wasn't him. It was that change was hard on me, man. It was hard on me. So that's why I'm always having compassion with people. But what I try to tell people is like, hey, I remember having friends who went for a PhD. You have any friends that go for a PhD? They shut down. They're not going to the clubs. They ain't hanging out with all these spots. They shut down. They got work to do. And they disciplined as hell about their rituals. Well, being an entrepreneur is kind of the same. Like, you want to go from one of the highest form of occupations in the game, but you want to keep your life the same. Like, where do you do that? Right, it's just not a thing. And so I think you're right. It is challenging. I think to reinforce your point, this is why you need group support and hang out in these environments. Mashama made a point the other day. He said, imagine tomorrow, if you ask somebody, hey, I love your top of the line firm. I know you're McKinsey, and I love your firm. I swear to God. Absolute trash. Anyway, but let's say you say, Josh is absolute, like, boy, Jesus. Okay, but let's say you call McKinsey up tomorrow and say, hey, y'all, can I just come hang out with y'all all day long and just learn from y'all? What McKinsey say? You don't get off my goddamn phone. You can't come to my office and just learn from me. Just being around entrepreneurs and having these conversations, these spaces, we don't see it as a privilege. We don't know this is actually a privilege. Because a lot of entrepreneurs don't have time. It's not, a lot of entrepreneurs who are really talented don't even know how to teach it because they understand it, but they're not focusing on communicating it, right? And so you got to have these kind of environments we have here that where you have your peers constantly giving you feedback and you have to grow this knowledge. Like those of you who go home and try to flip a switch and change, it's almost self-defeating and it lacks self-compassion. Right? So part of this process is like, there's certain levels, like we were having a conversation at the gym today about equating solutions based upon constant versus fixed. So for example, how you can make a decision today, but you understand that decision is a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 year decision. So let's say, for example, a president says, I'm gonna change this, 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 and this. The question is, can the next 4 presidents maintain it? Mm-hmm. Will their management style actually corrupt it or take a bad idea and make it better, right? So if you look at that, a lot of things we do that we're making decisions in, it's a factor of time impacting the decision. Where a lot of times when we talk one-on-one, we talk about it in a fixed context. I didn't like that decision, good or bad, right or wrong, smart or dumb. But really, as that idea extends, it becomes smart over time or it becomes bad over time, right? So looking at decisions impacting time. So Sean asked me, well, how would you teach that? And I said, you have to have an environment that designed to reinforce that. Otherwise, just teaching that lesson, when I throw you in the ring and the cat is swinging at you, you're going back to fixed. Like your brain is not gonna be like, yo, the constant of time, and then they got to look at those variables and then draw it out, then second order thinking, and then you're not. You're not. And so this environment is very important because one thing that we're doing in this environment is we're constantly taking some of these ideas and we're revisiting them, but from different perspectives and different angles. So like, for example, we may have taught you, this is horrible, I'm just using this phrase. It's not no accuracy here. But let's say we taught you 4 concepts, but the way we may teach you this for 4 concepts in like 30 different ways. Because at the end of the day, if we just give it to you just straightforward as maybe it's written in a book of some wisdom, you're not gonna be able to understand it. Or you apply it in a very narrow sense. You're like, yeah, I got a cousin. I need to talk to her about that. No, it's about you too. What do you mean, right? And so it's one of those things that these ideas they really do require for us to circle the wagon and show you the application, which gets into where we started with this class, which was winter's coming. So anybody ever been around farmers? They'll tell you when it's farming season, it's a very serious season because they need to go through that season and make sure they have enough food stored for what? The winter, right? And go back a couple of slides. I think one of these slides he had fit the, let me go back on, keep going. That right there. Life is inseparable from its fragility. Winters are fragility. But you look at social media. So I was at a restaurant the other day. A young man walked by the restaurant. Man, he had, I'm promised, between him and his girl, they had to be wearing about 14 grand worth of clothes. Whew. They couldn't have been over 25. No way in the world. I looked at him, I said, and I shook my head. No one understood why I was shaking my head. I was like, damn. Now, the way grandma would say it is, make sure you put away something for the bad times, right? Save some money for the bad times. The reason this is a subject is because somebody asked in class, how do you escape the hype cycle? It was online. It's the way you escape the hype cycle is you live within the seasons. Know that even when it's summertime, winter's coming. Don't ever go through your summer and only buy summer clothes, buy you a car without a top, get a house that doesn't need to require a roof. Because when the winter shows up, it's not the winter's fault. You should have known, okay, black people, we just went through an hype cycle, right? Money was coming in from George Floyd, from Waze. Some of y'all was like, wait a minute. And you had the government giving you money from PPP loans to some of you guys got monthly income. You had money coming from all kind of like ways you just probably never experienced before if you've been born from the 80s back, right? 90s back even. And yet, when the money went away, we went into this victimization type of dialogue. No, winter arrived. Winter arrived. Y'all remember when COVID first hit, and I said, well, I'm going to be cool. I got 2 months of runway. You know how much money I was making before COVID? I was making so much money over before COVID. I didn't even care about my bank account amount. I just like, does anybody stole anything? Then we good. I know we good because we making crazy cash. But what I did was I was always putting money to the side. I was 300 here, 400,000 here, 500,000 out here. So when COVID hit, I was like, I got 2 years of runway. I can pay all my employees for 2 years. I'm good. Right? Because I knew winter was coming. It wasn't I was such a smart, insightful, deep, wise person. When you're in business, I don't care how good business is going, the first thing you say is, you don't say, well, let's say you made a net profit of 50 grand a month. But if you know winter's coming, it might only be 30 grand a month or 25 grand a month. Because you understand this portion of money is designed for, a certain portion of it is designed for winter. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, once that money gets to a certain point, then maybe a portion, let's say that 25,000 now is 2 million. You're way past winter savings. Okay, now you start pulling a small portion of that money for investments, right? But what you're doing is business is not about smooth sailing. It's fragile as fuck. It's full of it's them crazy ass waves that just hit you so hard that it's just crazy. You know, I caught myself. You know, I switched up because I was like, ooh, yeah, I curved that call. I curved that point. But the point is this: is that winter business has these horrible slowdowns and these crazy accelerations sometimes, right? Or an employee or somebody can make a mistake and it can cost a lot of money. A lot of money. What you realize is that what allows you to get through those human mistakes is you run your business as it is tied to fragility. Don't run your business as an act of perfection. As if when I run this business, I'm going to express how perfect I am, and this business is an absolute direct reward for my hard work and my intelligence and how many books I've read and how good of a person I am and how hard I work in the shadows. No. Business, if you look at life itself, it has fragile moments. It has wintertime. Also, let me go another layer with this. When y'all meet people, stop basing your relationship on the summer. Stop basing your business partnerships on the summer. Stop basing your dating on the summer. Learn to see the people for their winter behavior. Because it's rare that you hear people say, I left this person because, they just brought me too many gifts and they was just too good of a cook and they was great in bed. I just had to leave them for that. Then probably you were the winner. But often why people leave each other is because we were shocked by their winter behavior. So when I'm around people, if you're hiring people, I was talking to somebody the other day, I said, I think I'm gonna move back to some of these old ideas, how back in the days when they hired you for senior positions, they watch all your relationships. They watch your choices, right? They were trying to read, who are you? How do you handle winters and summers, springs and falls, right? And so, like for example, let's say I'm talking to you in business. We're talking about business. This is why I think a lot of these basketball players are being highly ignorant. And I say, man, fuck Shabisha. I can't stand her stupid ass. Now, I might be sweet as hell to you, but I just shared with you my winter behavior. It's just a matter of time before you the stupid ass, right? If you see me at a place and the lady comes back with, she think I gave her $1,000, she comes back with $300 in change, but I only gave her a $100 bill, right? And I took that money and I'd be like, shit, she didn't take this money.
No.
You understand? That person just showed you their winter, right? I had a young man who worked for me, never say his name. He wanted to work for me in sales. So, he had a player swag to him. So I get a word, yo, your boy in the club wilding out. I said, what you talking about? Man, he got a second woman up in there and he's just stunting with her. He married, but he like parading his new one around. So I said, okay, all right. Let me check with him first. I said, let me ask you a question. Is it true that you were at the club parading your new one around? He said, yeah. You can't work here no more, bro. Can't do that no more. I can't trust you. Like, what kind of values, integrity? I'm not saying people don't make mistakes and people don't have shallow behavior. But you're going to parade around, you have a wife? What is wrong with you? Like, you guys got... Winter is also your relationships. Some of y'all don't even see your children's winter. Oh, my child. They got an A in class. They're amazing. Oh, they're so good. And when your child has a winter behavior, you almost ignore it because you only want to see the summer. Your daughter comes out the house, bra ain't even on, shirt tight as it want to be. Oh, she's just being a special. She's an artist. If you know, shit. They are. It is art now. It is art. Pole dancing is art. My point is that I'm saying, like, we don't. Hey, look here, player. Let's not. They ain't this kind of class tonight. But the point is this: that what I'm trying to suggest is that learn to see the winter time. When you engage people, you'll understand when a business deal starts to go south or certain behavior fall in place, you could almost bill for their winter. Let's say you have employees working for you. If you learn to see their winter behavior, you'll know how to build systems and prepare for that possibility of them having a winter response. You can protect your business. But if you bill for everything summer, this is why when you show up and like, oh, I just love how bright you are, how sunny you are. Oh my God, you're so amazing. It's like, okay. Corey brought up a point earlier. We will see people's knowledge and not see their level of their ignorance. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh my God, you hear what he said? That was so profound. And then one day that person will say, yeah, the other day I was looking through my house looking for the CIA. You said, what? How the fuck? You think I'm joking? This is very common. Or somebody be like, I had this one brother telling me, he's like, yeah, brother, you know, I'm relating to everything you're saying, everything. And you, brother, you're brilliant as hell. Can I ask you a question? What's your sign, brother? All right, man. I don't know what to do with this, man. I don't. You got to be able to see people. Here's the thing. But when you see people, you won't say, man, Nana hella smart. Let me just refer him. Nana's hella smart. Let me do some business with him. When you see people real side, you know how much they can bear at that moment. But you got to see people to play this game of interacting with people as opposed to projecting on them who you think they could be because they had moments of highlights of their brilliance and intelligence. I know there's people online right now have these brilliant soliloquies. Hang out with them for 30 minutes, you'd be like they really believe what they say and they really spoke on what they believe in, but they didn't tell you about the completeness of who they are. Sometimes people have knowledge with no wisdom. Like, I promise you, you guys got to slow down. Be careful of a manipulative charisma where people are speaking because you're so busy looking for their summer behavior, you don't see the winter. Winter is always coming. So when you meet somebody and you enjoying all those dinners, you understand you're in a hype cycle. And that person is beautiful. You're still in a hype cycle. And they even buy into some of your shadows. You're still in a hype cycle. And then you decide to get married before you saw the winter? Come at me now. Let's be real with it. So what I'm just trying to say is, like, the more you get into this life of, like, the way the life works and the real fragilities, learn to live life to understand that no matter how warm and how summery it is and how beautiful things are, winter is always coming. Mm-hmm. If you say winter is coming, you will manage things different. You will analyze things different. You will approach things different. Your whole approach to business, life, and all these variables will change as long as you say, winter's coming. Winter's coming. Mm-hmm. You'll never get caught by the hype cycle. If you get a hype cycle, it becomes investment money because you know winter's coming.
The financial actions that you were taking because you knew winter was coming is, I mean, at least from a distance, okay, do a little bit of this, you put more away, you have this.
I minimized growth, labor growth. So I didn't maximize. I could have just do a lot of labor at the problem. Mm-hmm. I was using more strategy than grunt because I realized if I grunt is expensive. I mean, so if I just got everybody work hours, and there's no strategy. Use technology to cut out steps that you could be done with grunt work, right? Use modern technology and tools to make things run better. Copy and paste certain things I can use from this job to that job. I use every strategical strategy I could to cut costs down while I'm at the height of the game, as opposed to allow somebody to trick me into buy every little tool in the game, every building rent in the game. I even when I moved into my new place, I was negotiating rent like, yo, that's too much. I can't. Now I'm making $500,000 a month, and I'm telling somebody $5G's a month. Oh man, you got to come down off that, man. That's crazy, man. Like, if y'all see me talking, y'all be like, is he broke or does he have money? Right? And I would dress like I was broke. I was just telling you that today. I was just like I'm broke and be like, hey man, look, man. I'm just saying, if you get me down to 4, I'll fuck with you. But I can't do 5. It's hard out in these streets. Dude, you got millions in the bank. I know, but it's just rough right now. Right? Like, because that ain't how you play. That million is not like, it is. Some of y'all know how the game works. Oh, you got millions, so you should be expended. Then that means you're not ready for the winter. Just like if you watch a farmer and he's loading up for the winter, and you walk in, you open his barn, you're like, oh shit, it's about to go down. And you invite your friends and have a dinner. When the winter comes, that family dies. Mm-hmm. So I don't care how much money I have in the bank, I'm always thinking about winter's coming. So I don't have that money in the bank. Mm-hmm. Because I got to get ready for when the winter comes. I need this business to keep going. I can't keep firing my top talent every time winter happens. Mm-hmm. You see, I'm going with this like, I don't never go to capacity or buy all the latest great. When a lady came to my office, it's gonna cost you $120,000 to remodel it. I could have just said, here you go, remodel that shit, be done with it. Told Michelle, she got me fucked up. I'm gonna do this shit for half. Because that's my winter money. I need to keep that winter money always growing. So as the business grows, so does the winter money grow. And then when you take that hit, a lawsuit come through one day. This is California, baby. Mm-hmm. Lawsuit hit me one day. I don't even see it. I don't even know where that lawsuit comes from. I'm ready to go. Even if I have to spend the money on a lawyer, I'm ready to go. As opposed to, I'm thinking about how can I shoot this person? I don't want to be in that position. I came from that world. I'm not going back. So let's go. I'm looking at black bass like Amazon. Send me a black. I'm kidding, y'all. I'm fucking kidding. Go ahead.
No, I think one, that was crazy because when you talk about a lot of the smaller local businesses who, on the other side of the hype cycle, just they're not able to continue operating the way that they were before.
And some of them would be great business. They still have great businesses.
They're still good ideas.
But what happens is that they go through this rough winter and then move through the rest of their career knowing wintertime is coming. So no matter how many people are hyped. See, the problem is that we listen to these nonprofits hype us up. Oh my God. Okay. You ever had that mother, you ever went to a black mother, said, how your son doing? She's like, oh, he doing good. He ain't in jail. He got a janitor job or a security job. You're like, because we're measuring the contrast as opposed to we don't have a true standard. So a lot of times when people were talking to us who were helping us, they saw us from a low standard. So we paid our bills, fed our kids, washed our ass. We were valuable. Like it didn't take very much for us to find value. So then they hyped us up and got us believing our ego went crazy. Like, yo, you the dopest black, you the black swan of the black community. Let's go. You're like, I'm feeling this kind of, I'm like, give me a t-shirt, say I'm the black swan of the black community. No, you just a regular black person like all of us. Yeah. Right? So what happened was because now they got you where you believe you're above the winner. You believe your whole life. You believe you're on a trajectory of where, hey, I see myself being a billionaire in the next 50 years. I just see it, right? You forgot that even billionaires have to navigate winners. Mm-hmm. So no matter how much they gave you, you didn't, even when you negotiated your money, did you negotiate for the winter? Or did you just negotiate for the summer? Mm-hmm. Like that's real. Once you understand this winter game, you understand every decision you make and how it's impacting, how if you don't keep winter in your equation, you may not even be charging enough. Mm-hmm. Does your profit allow for you to navigate winter? Or does your profit only allow you to have a good life as long as you stay in the summer? Okay. Maybe your prices have to go up because it's not winter friendly.
I wish I got this winter talk last winter. Cause I mean, I'll be truly transparent. I'm in that hole, and the hype cycle wasn't necessarily directly associated with the George Floyd money per se, but of course we benefited from it because shit, you throwing out some bread and shit. Yeah, we're gonna get it, but just not reinvesting, and I'll let you know this, not reinvesting in the business, and so now I guess the fragility is real. I'm in it. I ain't got no job. This is it. And so, this is beautiful. I'm going through that self-forgiveness space right now. And because we know the value of what we have, I know there's a way out. But baby, this shit is hard. And I got somebody else that I have to pay. To be able to do this stuff. So, but this is just so beautiful to hear. And much like what Shabisha said, for me, coming to Hope, it doesn't turn me sideways. It gets me back straight. Because I be sideways in a motherfucker sometimes. And I walk up in here and be like, oh, okay, get me back on track. Because it's real. Like, we did all right. We had some hits this year. And I wish I would have put more aside when the money was coming in and not being careless about how we were maneuvering. Because, hey, we know we got this event coming. I know we're going to get this bread. That bread wasn't all the way bready. It wasn't buttered all the way.
Let's keep out that white bread.
But this is just beautiful for me right now because it's literally I'm in this in an interesting space, and so this is really, really great. And like I said, I'd always be a case study because it is what it is. But this is beautiful.
Right on, family. Right on. It's my last story. Then I want to jump in because this class is going to be fire. When I first started Hope the first year, this is no exaggeration. This is the first year, started Hope. First day I opened up in my office, 30 people show up. Surprised that shit out of me. I didn't think, I just opened up and didn't think people was going to show up. So 30 people show up. And so at one point, I think we threw a party. I'm not sure if it was at my studio or I think it was at my house. So a lot of people came to my house. Y'all know me, me and my family. This is before ZZ was around, so we'd throw a party in a minute. And so we threw a party for the Hopers to come to the house. I don't think nobody had a normal car. Everybody had luxury cars. And everybody was broke. Do you not know the winter's coming? What the fuck you doing driving that car? You understand the winter's coming. Just because you could pay for it don't mean you should have it. Because if you pay for it and you literally getting close to all of your money and you're not able to put away no money for the winter, when something goes south in your life, you won't be able to bear that storm. It's also connected to the principle of radical responsibility, right? Which is like, once you really take radical responsibility for your life, you realize then life has ups and downs. It's your job to figure out how to navigate the down period, not just enjoy the up periods. And so part of so why are you driving there was one dude, he had a clean ass Lexus, the window couldn't even roll down because he couldn't get it fixed. His Lexus was clean as shit. He was broke as shit. Now mind you, I climbed up so long, he's actually doing good in business now, right? By the time I climbed, I was like, dude, how the fuck you got this Lexus that you can't get the windows fixed and you broke? You burning money. What the fuck wrong with you? Right? And so I try to tell folks all the time, then what I noticed, the people who didn't change, they're periodically a hot mess. When things are good, oh, they look great. When things are bad, they raggedy. And they scheming. Some of them will get caught up in some shit because they trying to avoid the winter season through legal behavior. As opposed to, if you run your life a certain kind of way, you gotta always know the winter is coming. Get an apartment and have a family. Say to yourself, get ready for the winter. mean, there's gonna be a time where you lose your job, that person loses, your loved one loses your job, your kids need extra money for this, the other. Man, y'all know how these new schools are crazy pricey, right? And they becoming prices I ain't even heard of for kids, right? And yet, or you buy a house. Some of y'all want to buy a house and don't know winter's coming. Anybody ever bought a house? We own a house. A $25,000 bill will hit your table real fast out the blue for no damn reason. Roof is bad, 25 grand. Sewage is acting up, $5 grand. It just happens. This electrical thing ain't working, 2 or 3 grand. You're like, God, God damn. it is like no breathers, right? So you gotta move. Like say, if you're gonna buy a house, you gotta know winter's coming. Don't buy a house. If I just do this, I can just make those payments and I can just weather the storm. And then maybe in 5 years I have some extra money. No, if you don't automatically can't get into the game with winter money and know you're gonna spend it, and you can't continue to add to that winter money, you're living over your head. And when that shit hits, just don't call me. Now that I told you, those of you who don't know me, maybe you get a chance to call me one time. I'm going to tell you winter's coming. But now that I told you, I'm going to ask you a question. Hey, how was you handling winter? And you better not be talking to me with Gucci shoes on. I'm going to be like, oh, I guess you don't realize winter was coming, huh? All right, let's roll into this shit. This is going to be dope. This is dope class tonight. This is a continuation. All right, let's examine this because I want us to refresh our thinking real quick around this one. So I'm going to this pyramid because this shit is so important. It's going to be so much game I'm about to give you guys. Like this is at the core of marketing. Look, business is about people. This is at the core of everything. This is the core of who you are. This is going to cut through a lot of this bullshit that we're hearing in popular society. So stay with me on this one. So that foundation line at the bottom, make that line infinite going both ways. It's just continuously going. That's reality. Reality is unlimited going 2 different ways, right? Your experience is this little, imagine experience being like a speck of dust you can't see with your eye right now, sitting on top of reality. That's your whole life experience. Now, within that experience, what cuts the limitation of what you get from your experience, like you hear people say like, well, I experienced it for myself. You said nothing. Let me just be very clear. When you say I experienced some shit for myself, you literally said not a motherfucking thing. But many of us go, oh, okay, since you experienced it, I guess you know. No, you know nothing. Because even though you may have experienced it, what did you see? I know what you was looking at, but your attention is only so thin. So even if we all watch the building blow up, based upon our training, based upon who we are, we're only going to see so much. So this is how so from there, from your experiences and your limited as attention, you form your personal theories. This is how life works. This is how you should do this. When it rains, you put up an umbrella. When it's cold, you put on a jacket. If you've been outside in the cold too long, this is why you're sick. This is shit we say all the time, right? But this is how you form your theories. Now, from those theories, you make judgment. Is that fool outside without a jacket on? Oh, he about to be sick, right? And then from there, you build your beliefs. I believe that if we're going to make a society better, we got to buy jackets for folks, right? Now, this is where it's going to get cold tonight. You see those 3 people up there? Your beliefs have a tendency to make you gravitate towards others who have the same beliefs, and that's how you develop your belief bubble. Now, we're going to get into this. You ready, Shabisha? Mm-hmm. Next slide. I'm going to come back. We're going to do a full 360. But I'm going to start you there so you have a kind of a mental visual. We'll come back to that slide every once in a while. All right, take off, Shabisha. Let's do it.
Over time, these beliefs and actions become deeply embedded habits and routines.
Mm-hmm.
A complex, dense, interconnected system of beliefs and behavior that is not easy to untangle and understand.
So go back to that pyramid. Once those beliefs once you hit the belief point from that big ass reality that you have no way of seeing, you're always going to be ignorant. Be very clear. As a human being, we'll always be ignorant. You'll never be completely smart. There's no such thing. You can't be on earth long enough. You can't have enough experiences. You don't have enough attention span. It's just not a thing. But your beliefs become entangled by so many reinforcements. Even your environment becomes a design that reinforces those belief systems. So when that belief is attacked, it's actually attacking your value and your reality. Not because it really is, but to the human being, it feels like if I say your belief is wrong, you feel like I just told you your reality and your personal value is wrong. Go back to the slide we were just on. Go ahead, Shabisha.
The more we reinforce those habits and routines, the more invisible they become.
So if you picked up an assumption on how the world works, but you don't have any facts, but you let's say you was at a barbershop and the most charismatic, okay, let me ask you a question. If you're in a room, say me and Court's debating, and there's 20 people in the room, and I say something, we ain't never arguing, and the room agrees with Court, is he right? We're in a room, 20 people. The room agrees with Court. Are we right? Is he right?
Maybe.
But when it plays out, how does it usually play out, though?
That's right.
How do most people shape their beliefs? By popular opinion, correct? So many of our ideas come from popular opinions, not research. So once it gets to a certain level of holding that belief for a certain amount of time, now we're in a position where I'm willing to fight for that belief, although I gained it from a popular source that never was tested or validated. I'll help y'all real quick. Y'all know I'm pro-black. How many of you guys lived during civil rights? Josh, Jews didn't live that long. But everybody else, but how long do y'all live through civil rights? So right now, you're taking the word for somebody else and popular opinion, correct? How many of you guys have tested those ideas? You don't. But how many of y'all get mad if somebody says that's some bullshit? Most of us. Let's just keep the shit 100. All right, let's keep going.
The more invisible they become until one day they are just the way it is.
That's just the way it is. That's what it's just how it is in the hood. That's how it is in Oakland. That's how we are black people. That's just the way it is. As a man, that's just the way it is. As Latino, LGBTQ, politics, Democrat, it's just the way it is. It is what it is. Is it? Is it really? Keep going.
But to practice liminal thinking, it's important to remember that the way it is something that we have created together. And if we can create it, we can change it.
That's game. So go back to that room. We created this false idea together. We also can change it together. A lot of our ideas have been group inserted in our brain. The brain said, well, this is what everybody says. This is how everybody, going back to what Court says, we're part of that bell curve. We're almost sit within that bell curve and says, this is what everybody does, bruh. If everybody does it, it got to be right. And then you can even go and grab a microphone on social media and be like, yo, isn't this right? And get 1,000 people like, yeah, that's right. Shh, that's brilliant. Like. And it's wrong. So remember, the group reinforces your reality. This is why your group matters also. If you run a group that's pushing the wrong reality all the time, don't be surprised that your love becomes support. This is important. I'm not saying all the way, like, you have the ability to still have agency over self, but it's real easy to say, this is how we do it, and this is what we believe in. And this is how we, read that last phrase again.
If we can create it, we can change it.
What's that called? It's called culture. Yeah.
I mean, you want to create that culture. You want to.
You absolutely have to
build this is the way that it is, and that's why I do what I do, and this is who we are.
Culture designs. You can't even hire people correctly if you don't have culture, rich business culture, right? But we also, before we even get to the culture part, a lot of our decisions that we're making on what is real to us has been culturally infused into our brain more than they've been analyzed into our brain. And so we have to be able to, you got to be careful when you have this emotional commitment to an idea and a belief. It's dangerous space. Why are you that emotionally committed to it? Matter of fact, scientists are not emotionally committed to almost anything, right? You have to almost have a scientific approach, which is, this is what I know to be true today until it's not. Until it's not. That's it. Not, it's truth and I'll kill you for it. Not me. I'm out. Don't have that kind of emotion today. Next slide.
The question is not what you look at, but what you see.
So this is important because this goes back to assumptions. This is where I got it from. Rich and I've been quoting this over and over. This phrase quoted 1,000 times. When people tell you, you know what, I have experience. I worked for this company. I'm telling you, I know what I know. I went to school for this. I know what you're looking at, but what did you see? You can sit in the same class if you're from East Oakland, right? I'm from East Oakland. 69ville, 73rd Lockwood, 61st and Bancroft, 65th and MacArthur. Then I move over to Nicole Street. Okay. So I'm from those areas. I can tell you, when I sit in a classroom with a white kid from a family who's in high performance, I don't hear what they hear. I don't see what they see. Because my daughter's in a private school, right? I'm watching these kids, including my daughter, talking ways I've never even heard before. My daughter's vocabulary is already her and her friends be having full-out adult dialogues, right? They're going to go in the same classroom. We're going to be in the same classroom. I won't hear what they hear, nor would I see what they see, even though we're in the same classroom. This is important because a lot of us think that there's this evil agent of racism that is preventing our growth, and we don't realize the evil agent is our historical traumatic past that blinds us from seeing what other people see. The gates and doors have been knocked down, but in the end, we still stop at that line because we don't see what they see. We really don't. Our stories are so self-defeating that even when we try something, we're convinced there's this powerful agent. Do you understand how expensive powerful agents are for all of us? Who's paying that bill? Come on. Do me a favor. Try to stop a teenager from shining and see how expensive it is. Go ahead, Josh.
Do you think it's easier to accept that lie that agent works because it allows you to divert responsibility and control away from yourself?
That could be an argument, but you got to go further down to the source of how it came into existence, right? I think there's all kind of like ways of coping. I think it's a coping mechanism, right? Or what you just suggested. It's easier just to go ahead and accept it, and then it becomes a coping. But you got to get down to, like, not everybody's in that space. A lot of people really want to, they want to shine, they want to grow, they want to expand, they want to scale. But you'll be surprised how there's so much conversations, which I'm about to get into, that smothers those opportunities before we even get started, and the person starts to even operate at a lower frequency, assuming that option's not even for them. They won't even make it to the door and challenge the idea because they've already been convinced. And it's not in mean spirit. It's people who come before us who had horrible experiences tell you, ain't nobody doing that. They don't do that for you. They won't. That's not an option. If you don't have this kind of degree, or you're not this person, or if your shit don't stink, you're not walking through that door, right? Next slide. I'll get there. I'll go further into this.
Whoa.
Okay. So in this story here, the author of this book, he went to one of his friends and said, "Hey, listen, I want to be a teacher at this university." And the dude's like, "Do you have a master's degree?" And he's like, "Nah." He goes, "Look, man, we got resumes mile long, and I'm really busy. They ain't hiring nobody. They ain't got no master's degree. Let's take it from there."
My friend wasn't lying to me or trying to mislead me. He was trying to help.
Now this is everybody who grew up in their culture. Think about your culture right now. Just think about your culture right now. So let's start there from my friend. So my culture. Just change the word friend to culture. Let's do it again.
My culture wasn't lying to me or trying to mislead me. It was trying to help by sharing its knowledge about the situation, which was greater than mine.
I want y'all to see how this happens. Pay attention, folks. Keep going.
But that knowledge also included a set of beliefs about what was possible, or perhaps I should say impossible.
Come on, black people, let's go.
Those beliefs created a constraint that made certain actions, like applying for a teaching job without a master's degree, inconceivable or absurd.
So you wonder why we still got barbershops, production groups, restaurants, boutiques, the same businesses over and over and over? It's not because that's our limitation. Our loved ones was trying to help us. This is why you can't get mad. It ain't about angry. You can't get mad at black folks who try to help you. Their trauma and their beliefs and the group support of it, because remember the bubble? Their beliefs become part of the bubble. It's been reinforced by these stories. So when they're trying to help you, often they're undermining you without the intent to try to undermine you. They're not even trying to lie to you. They're not even trying to pass fear to you. It's just been a belief that's formed in their mind from, once again, here's the real world. Here's black people's experience. This is what they talked about. This is what we've been paying attention to. This is where we formed our theories. Now this is our beliefs. This is what we pass down to our kids. And then you wonder why our kids hit the same glass ceiling? We're repeating the pattern over and over again in a space of love and help. Is that shit cold or what? Now it feels such a powerful invisible force, which is being manufactured in our own brains. We're the hosts of this powerful force. It's easy for us to think the mothership of white people have just showed up to destroy our possibilities. Keep rolling.
Let's say I had taken my culture's word for it, that I needed a master's degree. That would have created a boundary around what I was able to conceive as possible.
Pause. So black folks in the hood who are, I don't know about y'all, but I know hella brilliant black folks in the hood. How many of them won't try for other opportunities? They just go for the same old typical jobs because they don't think that we've been told because they don't have a 4-year degree, because they're not as smart as white. First of all, the biggest myth in the world is that white people are smarter than you. That's not a thing. Well, the reason why people often outshine us is for multiple reasons, but it's not because it's just, I've talked about those reasons throughout the class. It's often, but you hear these stories like, yeah, they did this is what they did to black people, and then they be planning in the FBI, the CIA, and then their government, and then their police department. Guess what I'm just doing to you? I'm shrinking you. Tell you what you can't do. I'm telling you that when I made my first million, this is no exaggeration. I made my first million. Sister put me aside and said, "They talk to you real quick. You need to go talk to this person, this person, this person, because I have a friend that made her first million, and the FBI came and talked to him. Or they're going to be coming to you soon." Do you know what $1 million is in a world where motherfuckers are making $1 trillion? Nothing. You don't see your ass for no goddamn $1 million. And then, by the way, I did call the dude. I say, fuck it. I want to see where this is going to go, right? Dude's like, yeah, well, what happened was I was running this little thing, and it was kind of shady a little bit. But, it wasn't the point. That's how they was doing it at the time. I'm just dude like, wrap this conversation up. like, end of the day, there was some lack of transparency of what that person was doing and why the FBI showed the fuck up, right? You been talking about, yeah, you make a lot of money, the IRS gonna come after you. There's some transparency that is lacking in that dialogue, right? There's nothing any human being on this earth is doing that we as a people cannot do within our community. We have greatnesses and we have weaknesses. We have all in between. This whole idea of racial superiority or inferiority is a waste of fucking dialogue. It's a distraction. It's really emotional reasoning at its best. And so once you understand how this game works, you'll realize that historical trauma has wrapped itself in cotton candy and ice cream and popsicles and everything, and it hands it down from child to child to child to child, only creating possibility distortions. This is critical. I'm gonna keep going. Stay with me. Keep going.
That boundary would have reduced the scope and range of my thinking.
Stop. So before you even not only reduce your acts, your brain doesn't even explore that as a possibility. You don't even think in that world. You don't even want to talk about that world because it ain't for you. Matter of fact, somebody talk on that level, you be like, man, you must be around them all the time. If somebody makes $1 billion, he must have sold out or must be with the Illuminati or something, because ain't nobody like us doing that. You hear the limitation in our heads? Cold as a motherfucker. I'm talking about even level, like you run your business, your employees who work for you, when they look at you, that's part of your culture, automatically assume we've reached the pinnacle of our success. We're done. Because we don't do that. This is it. If we get this, we already killed the game. Keep going.
If I had accepted that limiting belief, I might have spent at least 2 years and who knows how much money on something that was unnecessary.
Come on, black folks. It's being. I'm in order for me to feel valuable about myself, I'm gonna shine by shit. I'm gonna buy me a car. I'm gonna buy some clothes. I'm gonna get this little dime piece on my arm. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to be at this restaurant, stunting on folks. Bottles coming to the table. You feel me? I'm about to stay at this little expensive ass Dubai ass hotel, because then, if I can't reach it, at least I can feel it. I can look it. I can play the game. Because you already accepted the limitation. We got ballers right now who should be CEOs. But it's because they accept the limitation in their brain. They move like just ballers. Keep going.
Wait, say that again?
So a lot of dudes are ballers who are just hustlers in this game out here in the streets. Even a lot of these chicks who are out here just getting paid to stunt next to a dude. A lot of that is because down in the road, they accepted the limitation. And the whole recipe of where they are, the whole formula that they built, started because they accepted the limitation. If they didn't know the limitation existed, their brain would be exploring other opportunities. Once you say, it's like if you got trapped in prison, right? Prison's going to have a different culture because you're trapped in there. It's not like you could be like, hey, I'll be right back, go to the store, right? Hey, prison folks, if you watch this, that was not a joke, but it was funny. But it was like, but in a situation, so it forms a different culture, right? Where in your mind, if you're convinced you cannot be these things. When I came out of high school, my father, I keep saying this story, and I'm trying to show you how this story was unfolding. My father won Pimp of the Year in Oakland in 1973. I'm thinking, I don't want to be him. Mm-hmm. The women were pretty though, but I didn't want to be him. Right? I had so many crushes growing up. I was like, man, what's up? Couldn't do nothing with it, but man, she was bad. Tomietta was my favorite one. Anyway, I couldn't do nothing with it, right? And so as I got older, I was like, no, I don't want to be a pimp. And then I had dope dealer family members. I was like, no, y'all keep getting killed. Like people just getting killed off. Or they started tasting their own drugs, right? And I didn't want to be none of that stuff for me. So I sat at this crossroad like, what else is there? I don't know. Literally, I said, what else is there? Just triple that. I'm at the beginning. I came up, I'm 57. So I came up at the beginning of the crack era. So that means there was a whole generation of people that didn't grow up in crack. Me. Mm-hmm. And so that doesn't mean that I'm limited by crack. I lived in Oakland when it was it was black and white people. My neighbor had a Rolls Royce, white woman had a Rolls Royce. That's how East Oakland was popping at one point. East Oakland had rich white folks living in East. Y'all don't know, if you wasn't growing up long enough, you don't know this, right? So I got a chance to see black doctors, black this, black that, black variations. I got a chance to see white people living next door who were performing at high levels. And I'm at the crossroad at high school going, fuck. Because I had already bought into the conversations that started back from suppression from slavery and Jim Crowism that said, hey, nigga, this is all you gonna be. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that was a thing, but I had nothing for you. If you say, what are you gonna be? I'd be like, I don't want to go corporate America because I don't want to be white. I literally said that. Mm. I don't want to give up my culture and leave my family behind. Because I was taught through love, you longshoremen, garbage men, some of those jobs were like the creme de la creme jobs when I was coming up. But like, when I started 510 Media, people said, black people don't do shit like that. Why are you trying to come in like that? It's a waste of time, bro. And this was loved ones. This wasn't people. There's no hating. Mm-hmm. It was no fucking hating. People just couldn't. Even when I started my business, there were people saying, how's your little small business going? They weren't hating. They were doing it in love because they were trapped in limited beliefs. If I got caught up in like, oh, they hating on me, then I've been even more fucked up, right? It's not like that. It's our culture has prime our kids from day one, from out the womb. Hey, this is all your black ass gonna be able to do. Keep going.
Or maybe I would not have applied for a teaching job at all because I would have seen a master's degree as an expensive, futile effort that made no sense.
Come on. Y'all can see that? What I'm going to college for? What I'm doing all this shit for? I'm gonna go through all those degrees for? I'm gonna sit through like why am I even commit to anything? I got friends right now, not friends, associates. They can't commit to nothing for long. They can't stay with the gym. They can't stay in the classrooms. They take some shit for me like 6 months to a season, and they don't see quick responses. They on to the next lick. That's it. They can't stay with shit for a long time because they think it's futile. Why am I still here? Like there's been people in this class. Hey man, I ain't made no money yet. I've been in class 3 months. What the fuck you want me to tell you? Good luck. But they that's how they move through life. It's like if they don't get quick responses, the problem with that is also they'll never live for the winner because they only see what's right in front of them. They're not playing no long game. They don't understand, hey, if I make this, there's no second order thinking, which is what's next. It's only what's right now. What can you do for me lately? Which means you are so pimpable by my father's laws. It's ridiculous. You officially became a hoe when you say, what can you do for me lately? And what's right? Like, I don't care about what you can do. Like, I don't care about tomorrow. What can you do for me right now? You're officially becoming a hoe. You have no power in the system. If you want some power, sometimes you have to give it the moment to get the play, make the long-term play. That's a hard game when you're short-sighted because you've lost your hope in life itself. When you convinced that this ain't for you. When you think this world, I'm a black man. I know what it feels like. I made money recently. I grew up most of my life poor. When you walk down the street and you watch other people enjoying the fruits of high rises, you start wondering if this world's for you. And so, but part of that is that's part of that historical programming that today, now you sit in rooms where the militant dude tells you the white supremacy is destroying the black man. And you're like, yeah, that feels better because it gives me this invisible shit that's happening. Not realize, no, it's tucked in your beliefs. Fucked up. Okay, have you guys, in case you guys never done this before, I'm going to share this with you. I jumped on planes many times and landed in red cities and states where people say, don't you take your black ass out there. Mm-hmm. The best time of my life. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Most cordial people. But I can't tell you my heart wasn't beating fast when that plane landed. I was like, oh God, let this be the day. Right? and like, you'll see a white dude walk up, F-150 white dude, though you don't want the shotgun in the back. And be like, hey, how you doing? Welcome here. What you doing? You're like, I'm just here for the... you talking to read your own black Miranda rights, right? I have the right to remain silent because I don't want no shit, right? To only discover, are they hella friendly, right? That most people ain't really tripping like that. But in your mind, you are convinced that every white person you run across, this can happen. I promise you, it happened to me. Every white person that you're gonna run across has a racist agenda against you. Mm-hmm. You can feel like that because it's tucked in your cultural reinforced belief bubble. Let's go. Keep going.
Beliefs are necessary. We couldn't survive without them. They are tools for thinking. We use them to navigate the world and they guide our actions, but they also limit us.
Exactly. So your beliefs, a lot of your limitations, this is why radical responsibility, let's go back to that word, radical responsibility. Everything that happens to you, stay away from blaming. Everything that happens to you, take radical responsibility. Because a lot of your challenges, your problems are locked in your beliefs. And if you start to flip those switches of your beliefs, you start to have different outcomes in your life. A lot of your outcomes you have in your life, if you haven't repeated outcomes, don't fool yourself that somebody's been paid full time to reinforce those outcomes, right? If you having repeated outcomes, there's damages and there's distortions in your belief system. And so a lot of times if you go inside, the solution to your outside world is inside. It's not outside, it's inside. It's not what those people did. You know, I seen dudes, oh, my baby mama. You chose her, right? I just want to make sure you chose her. I just make sure they, like nobody hit a gun to you. Like, there was no shotgun wedding or, you know, she had some illegal shit on you or anything like that. No, you chose her? Okay. All right, finish this conversation so I can leave. I'm not doing this shit with you. Record responsibility. That LeBron James shit, I watched so many people support him. That's trash. LeBron. Let's stop, bro. Right? I'll get it to another day. But if y'all ever want me to get it to LeBron, Stephen A. fucked up because he, you know, there's a rule: if me and you fight across the street, nobody know who caused it, right? So after a while, you stay in that fight long enough, you start shrinking your position. If Stephen A. would hit the high road on that, it would have like you don't run up to a man in the third quarter. You're a professional. Where once you choose to become a professional, you understand it comes along with it. There's a trade-off. You don't get to just live in this world. And number two, if somebody ever call you a bad daddy and you get mad, check your record books and see if you're a good daddy. And don't get me wrong, LeBron James, people like that, their lives are so busy on another level, it's hard for them to be great fathers. Let's just keep it 100. If you get to that level of that sport, LeBron is one of many. Most people never know his lifestyle. He don't get summers like everybody else, where he's at home with the family. Let's go for a ride at Disneyland. LeBron, we're gonna need you over here. We're gonna need you to speak over here. This new company wants you to have you here. This here. He's a billionaire. That means he's moving, right? And I'm sure when he saw his son close to death, it came downloading on him like. So then when Stephen A. says something about his fatherhood, it's just a trigger. And now Stephen A. is a victim of that stuff, right? But even him being a victim, you should put that man to the side. Hey, my man, look, I'm going through some shit. Don't talk about my son again. Just give me a little minute. That's cool. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with that. I'm just saying, but to go in the middle of the game, come on, bro, cut that shit out. Next slide.
This is what I mean by thresholds and doorways. There are opportunities around you all the time.
Say that how many times?
All the time.
People online who's watching me, people in this class, opportunities are not rare. They're around you all the time. You know what stops you from seeing your opportunities? Your beliefs. Let me say this again. If you broke right now.
That's cold bar.
If you broke right now, you know why you broke? Your beliefs, not the opportunities. When I first started Fight to Media, I remember 1 month, I told you the reason I couldn't grow my company at first is because I had a big ego. My ego was out of control. I mean, that 1 month, we were $500 short on rent. I told him, I said, hey, this weekend, I said, how short are we? He said, 500. I said, I'll be back with 500 on Monday. I didn't exactly know where I was going to go get it. Where are the people at? I find $500. I didn't even lie to anybody. I just sold $500 worth of products. That was 2 jobs at the time. Don't call me for $500 today. Don't you dare. I'll be like, well, that's a tip? Anyway, the thing is that I realized the money's always out here. I can tell you, money's always out here. Watch the Latino community. I love them cats. Them motherfuckers in the hood. If you ever hear their numbers, this cat made $1 million off of fucking fruit in the hood. They got the cart. They roll through the hood, the golf cart, and they come through with their bill like they don't even have the horn. I'm out here with the fruit. Let's go. I love them cats. Fuck what you heard. But what's stopping you from having that, black people? That fruit, black people always needed fruit. Beliefs.
Ego.
Can I be
Sure.
honest about it? 100%. I see myself in that. I went to school, I did all this stuff, and there's a story that putting myself out there is like begging, and I'm above it. And I didn't know that was a thing until last week or something like that. I was watching a woman say, she was talking about sales. I did not realize that so what I would say is, sales are sleazy, right? And a lot of people feel like that, right? You'll hear that on sell to capitalists, bad stuff, the sale, the whatever. But the reality, it's just a front. because you are protecting yourself because your value, and you don't feel, even with all the degrees, there's still, or whatever the things you have done, your certifications, or whatever your way was of sort of putting that in front of your connection to other human beings. And so I have my perspective is very different now, but what I can say is it's this, somehow selling felt like a loss of status. And so when you talk about the Latino community and they pedaling on a bike, it's like, I want to be that. I don't want to be that, right? But it's a real important question to say, like, is this status that you're clinging to, whatever story, are you going to allow that to get in the way if that person got $1 million?
But let me add to that. That's even doper. Mm-hmm. It's not just your single status; it's the group's bubble.
Yes.
So the culture reinforces that belief system. Yeah. So if you were to break rank, you almost lose out on the group's not status, but also there's almost your values being attacked.
Yes, 100%. And so I would see, like, you see videos. Social platforms are like the worst if you have this, because you don't get a choice in the ads unless you pay. So Grant Cardone is coming on all the time. He in a pool, he's being crazy, he's doing stuff, and you like, hell no, I don't want to be nothing. That ain't the group I want to join. But, you know, just being in a going back to the point that you made about you can't teach it, it has to be constantly reinforced. I never would have thought that I was equating sales to less value. Mm-hmm. And then I moved down my apartment and I started selling stuff, and I was like, this shit is amazing. People were sending me pictures about what they did with the stuff, and I was like, oh, this what you got it.
Yeah, it's but watch this. The belief may not be necessarily sales. The belief also can be like you're not good enough because this society you lived in this whole time told you you're not as valuable, and so I refuse to do anything that's gonna give them my status, because that means giving them status means that I'm gonna submit to not being valuable. And so there's it's a cross crazy intersection of so many beliefs that are clashing, and going back to the early slide, it's an intersection of complexity. It's not just one belief; it's multiple beliefs colliding, and then you're like, I don't want to sell. I don't want to do that. And you might even say, you might even. There's a term that says cool kids always do worse in school, because they're going to say, I don't care as much, which caring is not cool, right? So what you do is you revert to that kind of move. I don't care, and you even learn cool ways to talk about it. You may even make a popular hip hop phrase celebrating not selling, right? And then the next generation come along. You ever hear kids go like, "Oh, you're doing too much." That's like a hot thing youngsters say, right? Doing too much is validating obstacles. Saying, oh, that's a wall. I don't need to get around that. That's too much. It needs to not even be there. I don't deal with it. I'm going to go back to my phone. Somebody at some point could get around that obstacle. Like, when you say you're working out, and you're like, I don't know if I can go another step. And then you realize you could have ran another mile. You learn from the train, you can run another mile. But there's a mental point in your brain where you go, I need to quit. This shit's crazy, right? That's the point of doing too much. Right? So somebody couldn't get past that point, and they flipped it and made it popular. That's culture. Now you run around and talk about, man, you're doing too much. And we laugh at it. And now we just validated a limiting belief.
Because you're supposed to be, it ain't supposed to matter. Nothing phases me. I don't want to show that I care. I don't want you, like all of these little intertwined beliefs that make it, that anti-progressive.
Anti-building, anti-business, anti-change in our communities. Okay, like I said last week, and I want to make sure, because I want to get to this other line. Most ghettos sit on prime real estate. Just think about that. They're not sitting in some way out in the boonies where you shooting lions and bears and shit. You're sitting in Oakland, prime real estate. Richmond, prime real estate. Hunters Point, prime real estate. Vallejo, quiet kept, that shit hella clean, prime real estate. Right? So, like, I watch, when I drive, my block is a nice block in East Oakland. As soon as I hit that corner, why are you not picking up the trash in front of your spot? A belief. It's not because they physically, everybody fucking handicapped when you turn the corner. It might be even young people in your house. Like if you got 4 young people living in your house, ain't nobody clean up outside? Because maybe the parent doesn't even talk about that because it's not part of their belief system. Let's get away from judging. I don't want to judge people. I don't want to put people inferior, superior, because then now we going, that's a bad belief in itself. I'm saying once you see the purity of beliefs, this gives you the self-compassion to work on yourself. Going back to what he said, self-acceptance and self-compassion go hand in hand. If I start judging people who don't clean up their trash from their house, then that means I'm going to treat my response to myself harshly. That means I'm also going to be a horrible teacher of compassion and how to clean up your room. Because when I show up to people, I'm like, see, you should be cleaning up your, should. What the fuck you mean should? Who the fuck are you, right? But if you show with compassion, you can impact more people by seeing, well, it's not that they're bad people. It's just not integrated into their belief system. That's it. That's in the conversation. And if you say that, you can actually build a better solution that has empathy built into it, as opposed to a solution that's punitive because you think something wrong with these motherfuckers. Right? Like, you can't collaborate with niggas. If you keep calling black people niggas, you can't collaborate.
True.
Because but it's a matter of time before you go, the nigga mindset gonna kick in, but oh, this nigga crazy. So you gotta get to the point where you gotta see the human in your people to build. Otherwise, if you don't see the human in them and you just keep calling them niggas, then you're gonna keep producing a nigga environment. I ain't used the word nigga that much in my life. I swear, I think that's the most, I'm not exaggerating. I don't think that's the most I've ever said it, but I'm saying it for it's a mental mindset. But trust me when I say that is a word that makes me feel hella uncomfortable when I don't even like to use that term because I can't see people through that lens. Keep going. Let's keep going.
There are opportunities around you all the time, every day, and in many cases you're unable to see them because limiting beliefs blind you to real possibilities.
Black people, let's slide. I promise you, black people, look, man, I sit in a room with a lot of white folks, from PhDs to millionaires, billionaires. I said, a lot of them ain't tripping on you. They don't give a fuck about what you do. Some of them are even rooting for you. They just ain't got time to fuck with you. I'm not lying. Most of the ones who fuck with you are the poor white folks who are just as weak as you are, and they're using it as a way to like disrespect you because they blaming you. They blaming you just like you blaming them. The reason we ain't got jobs, these Negroes done took all our goddamn jobs. No hillbilly Joe, you ain't got a job because you stupid as fuck. Cut it out, right? And so the reality is that you caught in this cycle of time wasted. I'm not saying racism does it because it's built into the system. America is full of systemic racism. I'm saying, you know what racism is like? It's like a chess move. You guys play chess? When I say check, doesn't mean checkmate. Me and you guys treat racism like it's checkmate. It's just check. That means you make the counter move. That's all the fuck we're talking about now. It was designed by a man so it can be overcome by a man. Just keep that shit 100. Stop treating like somebody's like God's son and Jesus came down there and Jesus authorized racism and now we can't get past Jesus. Like, let's call the shit for what it is. It's just check, people. Now, let me tell you what racism also feel like in business. It feels like business. Ain't nobody allowed to let you make $1 billion and not challenge you.
Right.
Your best friend, if he goes to the same business, he's officially your competition and still your best friend at the same time. So you get used to friction and resistance and competition and people challenging your position. You get used to that shit as that's how the game works. Josh, if you don't sit your ass down for one time, stop. Just stop. You done moved more than everybody in the room about 1,000 times. Just. I was solving an audio issue. You have an audio issue with the system? Yes, so I went outside this. Okay, is it cool? Yeah. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Because every time I turn around, click, boom, get up.
That was on me. I asked Josh to come over.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. I was like, yeah, you don't sit your ass down for 5. Like every time I'm playing like deep thought, and I just see Josh go like, I'm just gonna cross across you again. Okay, so the thing is that Okay, you cool. So the thing is that, I don't know what the thing is. Go ahead, next one. No. Did we read that last slide? Go back. Go ahead. Oh, yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Reality is that which, when you stop believing in it, doesn't go away.
Okay. Just because you have these beliefs that don't work in society doesn't mean, okay, whatever you believe, if it doesn't align with reality, you still become victimized by reality. So let's just say you don't believe winter exists, and you move like you believe in summer. Reality doesn't go away because you believe it.
Hey, I was watching this interview of this very intelligent black woman. She was, I guess, a newscaster. She was arguing with her counterpart, two white men. Some of you guys might have seen it. And she was hailed because she quote unquote was checking them. And she was like, "Look, I got more degrees than any of you guys sitting here. I got 4 degrees. And the fact that I'm the least paid person in the room shows me the disparity between the two, because it shouldn't be that way. I should be getting paid more than all y'all because I got more degrees than y'all." And so everybody's like, "That's right." She told them off. And I'm thinking, you don't understand the reality game. You got to compete. Like what you just said in the last slide is, what's racism in business? It's just business. And yeah, you may have degrees, but what are you doing behind the scenes to make sure you get that position? What relationships you build and incentivizing, because it's wild out here. It's the wild. And so a lot of times we get caught up in this bullshit ass, like our version of reality, and we trying to impress our version of reality on other people, and that shit end up falling back in your face.
LeBron James' son. They should be talking about him. You don't get to tell reality what it should or should not be doing. You got to learn the game you playing.
Yep.
If you understand the game you playing, you can navigate it, move it the way you need to move, right? Did anybody talk shit about Scottie Pippen's son? Anybody talk shit about Doug? I think Doug Christie's son is in the league.
Tim Hardaway's son.
Yeah, Tim Hardaway's son. Anybody talk shit about them?
Gary Payton's son.
Gary Payton's son. Anybody talk shit about them? Right? But if your father says, "Oh, I think my son's better than most people in the league," and I play wherever he plays, that's a cost. Number 2, teach your son he's a man now. He ain't a kid no more. You got 1 million followers. You just want people to love you all the time? Like, when you become popular and decide to jump into the limelight, you're going to have a lot of people who love you. I'm sure a lot of people love LeBron James Jr. But there's also people going to hate on LeBron James Jr. You got to learn how to that's part of the game you signed up for. I promise you, the more you grow, if you're a millionaire, let's say you got $100 million in the bank, and the world finds out you have $100 million in the bank. I don't take your silly ass to the club by yourself. Don't go out there and tell me I can fight really, really well. That's bad. That's bad understanding of reality. Cats are gonna bump you on purpose, call you a bitch ass, watch you slap them, and then the lawyer be right behind them. Yes, that's about $150,000 right there. I never seen my client get slapped like that before. You gotta understand the reality you exist in. Once you sign up understand everything you do in life has trade-offs. When I had children, I realized I don't get to do some things I used to do before. When I bought a certain kind of car, I don't get to go certain places I want to go. My boy he just spent thousands to bring back an old school Monte Carlo. That shit is pretty as, it's so fucking beautiful. I was like, God damn. I said, you can't roll through the hood no more. It's over. This car, it says, I gotta get him. I gotta get him. It's just that car just says it, right? And so I'm like, yo, you now got a weekend car, a Sunday car, a Napa car. You no longer have, I'm about to go down to 73rd. Because if that car gets hit, that's $70,000 car getting hit. And it ain't cheap to get it repaired because parts ain't everywhere no more. You get what this like? Everything's a trade-off. Don't ever think that it's all win-win. Whatever decision you make is a trade-off. And what happens is when we lose track of reality, when we start losing track of the trade-off. Everything has a trade-off. You want to be an entrepreneur and you want to keep the life the same, reality will win. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you don't want to keep learning anymore, reality will win. You want to be fit, but you want to go to the gym, reality will win. I'm going to eat what I want to eat. Okay, just know reality will win. I don't want to hear, but I know somebody one-offs. I know the red bear in the face. I heard about this one person. No, reality will win. Keep going. Next slide.
Whatever groups you belong to or most strongly associate with, the dynamics will be similar. Collectively, we create a kind of bubble of belief that reinforces and protects our existing beliefs.
So keyword. This is keyword. This is where wars start. This is where fights start. This is where it disconnects. This is where we don't fuck with people no more. A lot of people you cut off, you didn't cut them off because they actually caused you any threat. You cut them off because they challenged your beliefs. When you get to a higher level of business, you have to develop an ability to sit in multiple beliefs. You got to be able to translate so many different beliefs and sit with them and just hold them for what they are. Not good or bad, just what they are. When you become anchored in a narrow belief, you almost destroy yourself to grow your business. Your employees won't even share your beliefs. Like, if you really understand the power of scaling a business, the more you grow, the more you have to be able to interact with beliefs you don't even necessarily agree with. But can you sit in that space and not sit there biting your bottom lip till blood is falling out because you're really pissed off? Can you be cool and have conversations with people who don't share any of your fucking beliefs? Is it possible? Or are you shrinking your world every day and wonder why you can't expand? Keep going.
So collectively, we create a kind of bubble of belief that reinforces and protects our existing beliefs by denying that alternative beliefs are within the realm of possibility.
So, fuck is wrong with Trump? What's fucking wrong with white people? What's wrong with these Negroes? What's wrong with these women? What's wrong with these men? What the fuck's wrong with these gay people? What the fuck's wrong with these... They have a different group of beliefs. That's it. That's important. Trust me. Some of y'all keep talking about empathy, but y'all don't respect different beliefs. You fake ass empathy motherfuckers. like empathy is saying, yo, my beliefs ain't the only beliefs.
Right.
But when you get so caught up in your beliefs as being superior, can you please stop saying empathy and compassion? You only compassion when motherfuckers are lying with you. That's why I didn't like social justice. Social justice is a non-diverse, it's the most non-diverse, diverse movement ever seen in my life. I believe in diversity, but if you believe anything different than me, I need to cancel you. What the fuck are we doing here? But it's a belief. A belief doesn't care about reality. Social justice didn't care about reality. It cared about its belief of reality. Y'all see the difference? This is important. If y'all want to stop, look, I'm even showing you, this is anti-pimp game here. If you don't want to be pimped, the pimp major product is his or her stories, because there's women pimps. Don't get it twisted, right? And a pimp sells their game through stories. A pimp doesn't have any momentum or power if you as a person can see beyond the story or the belief that's being presented to you and look at reality for what it is. This is where like con game, my uncle was a master con artist. He never worked a day of his life. He never was broke a day of his life. But he played with people, distortions of reality. That's all this game is. In business, many of you guys are stuck in fucked up ass jobs because you can't break your beliefs. You mad, you have anxiety, you think about committing suicide because of bad beliefs. And it all can be changed. Keep going, Shabisha.
It's a kind of collective delusion or dream that we co-create in order to maintain a group map that we use to navigate the world.
Okay, culture. This is what culture is. A group map is culture. What is a group map? The human brain can't see reality. Let me be very clear. Research this when you get home. Look it up 1,000 ways. You cannot see reality. You can't even deal with reality. Your brain can't even handle reality. It's too much information. So what your brain does is it creates a map to allow you to get around every day. This is why you do this. This is how you get this. If you want to be this kind of person, this is why you do that kind of person. If you just start to really tear your beliefs down to like its bottom line, you realize it's just stories you created to navigate in a world you really don't understand, right? So then when a group of people are around each other, this is where cultures form. We create comfort in sharing this map of reality. You know, white people, it's no justice, just us. You know, I didn't get here on a Mayflower. Mayflower landed on me. I hated those phrases back in the days. But we use these common sayings, and these are maps of reality. They're not reality itself. The other day, I haven't shared this, and I'm dealing with it, but I'm not tripping. A tree fell on my car. So OPD had to come out. And I'm with OPD for 30 minutes. These cats were hella cool. Almost every OPD I've met in the last, say, year, 2 years, have been like brothers and sisters you hang out on the streets. But the story of OPD is 1960s. The story that our culture tells about OPD is still 1960s. Even though they're getting modern day dudes that feel like me in court, you won't even see them. When you see them, you're going to project 1960s police officer on that person because you're still stuck over here. So then when you talk about police reform, you're really talking about reform in 1960s, 1970s, and even 1980, Officer Hicks. Oh, I used to hate that motherfucker. 1980s, that was an officer who used to beat up on black folks. I don't know if y'all from East Oakland, Officer Hicks was real. But you still protected that police officer, where today some of the dudes be like, man, look, I ain't trying to do all that shit, right? So a lot of times, a lot of our problems that we're having, a lot of our challenges that we're having, we don't even see the problem that's in front of us. We see the story of our culture, and then we project that story on the problem that's in front of us. Y'all get that so far? Everybody with me so far? Mm-hmm. Okay, keep going.
In order to maintain a sense of certainty and control, as well as a collective self-image of who we are and what we stand for, we work together to create and maintain the shared map of reality.
So, Tuskegee, right? When we went down to, Black Wall Street. We went on Black Wall Street. Mm-hmm. And the shared story was different than the real story. Remember that? I said, because it was like, you want to go in here? They went to the museum. It's like, no, you want to go to the Black Wall Street? I said, no, I don't want to go in there. Because I researched the story. Because I knew what story he was going to sell me was the culture story, the belief over the facts. The facts was, so for example, people don't ask certain questions. The first question was, well, where did the money come from? You may ever ask where the money come from? You might know where the money came from Black Wall Street? Not those who went with me. Anybody know where the money came from? Not Jews, shut up. Do anybody know where the money came from? So even when you guys say, for example, if you do an investigation and a dude's laying there dead and a white dude has a gun, you don't want to know who the black dude was, who the white dude was, right? You don't want to know. You just want to just take off from there and be like, another story. The black dude who built Black Wall Street, the way Black Wall Street grew was from oil. One single man had oil. All those businesses and those pictures you saw was coming from was really funded through a major single source, oil. That's important to know that. I mean, it showed their fragility that didn't take much to take the system down, right? But then what it sold to black people later on is, why try anything? Because white people will destroy what you have. So today, a lot of black people won't even start shit because of Black Wall Street story that comes with a belief that's been shaped and designed through, they call it zeitgeist, which is a story starts to become bigger than the actual action itself. To now, the story has become a limitation in our brains of, when you get to a certain point, white folks may just come destroy that shit just because. That's the kind of shit we are under, and we are not unraveling these conversations because it's so baked into our culture. Now, when Nana speaks against it, there's somebody online right now, mad as motherfucker, hot as fish grease. Because they feel like I just said, black people all this time been lying. That means that I'm a lie. That means that he don't like black culture. That means that he's one of those Negroes who have a black face who's working for white supremacy, who come from East Oakland, who never knew what the fuck that means. I promise you this is being manufactured because I've heard it before. Oh, you can't. I've even heard people, you can't relate to us. How the fuck I can't relate to you? I graduated from Castlemont. I didn't go to college. Fuck you talking about? My college was East Oakland Streets. What the fuck you talking about? The difference was I realized college did not control learning. And I realized that, well, what books y'all reading? Well, I'm gonna read that shit too. And the first book I read, it was me in a dictionary for weeks and months to get through maybe 400 pages. Because I was like, I don't know what that word means. I don't know. These words are crazy. And then one day I remember sitting in East Oakland going, I have these amazing thoughts, but I'm a victim of my own vocabulary and I can't even express my own thoughts because I don't have the words for it. And then I set on a mission. I'm like, I refuse to accept weaknesses. So I'm about to grow my vocabulary so I can express my fucking thoughts because I hate being a prisoner of my own fucking words. So you tell me you can't relate? Then I was a pro-black dude at Berkeley Flea Market wearing dashikis every day, talking about he hate white supremacy, going down to the Black House, going to McClimb and sitting with Dr. John Henry Clark and Dr. Bean, talking about white people are the devil, going to all the Farrakhan, talking about fuck what white people say about this, and then realizing none of this shit's working. If it's white people, and then I finally started to grow my business and got in room. The first time I got in room with white people, I'm thinking, okay, revolution is about to start. They're gonna come with that shit. And they weren't as smart as I was. And I said, wait a minute, I can run game up in this motherfucker. The first time I did, I'm gonna just be honest with you, because I couldn't control myself. I was like, wait a minute, y'all don't know what I'm talking about? I'm about to get these money, right? Till after a while, I was like, okay, the problem is that when you live foul, you feel foul. You become foul. So I had to cut all that shit loose. Even not liking white people, I had to cut that shit loose because then it started damaging white people at home eating cereal and I'm fucked up. So I come from that world. I'm actually climbing out of that motherfucker still to this day. Financially I'm not there, but I'm climbing out. I mean that I want so much for my people is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And I realized what I've been fighting this whole time mostly is our beliefs. So when I built Fight Team Media, I said Fight Team Media is a response to slavery, Jim Crow, and the crack era, those are major traumatic moments that loaded us up with so many limiting, damaging beliefs that we rally around so strong and we'll fight you for it, but not realizing it's not giving us any return. We keep investing in these beliefs for no return. We even celebrate motherfuckers. They could get a dude right now, a hood dude right now. Every hip hop song he produced called, every song was named Bitches and Hoes. Every song. And if he makes one song that says I'm pro-black, we'd be like, oh, I'm feeling him now. Oh my God, he's brilliant. Oh, he's a scholar. My God. What? We keep investing in a belief that doesn't. When I say pro-black, I'm invested in black people controlling our destiny and having the best opportunities this earth has to give us. That's what pro-blackness means to me. It is not linked to. There's a lot of stuff in pro-black books I agree with, and some stuff I'm like, okay, yes, I understand up to 18 dynasties it was African, but how's that going to help me change Oakland? And until we can have that conversation, I'm not saying it can't, but until we have that conversation, I'm not going to get mad at a white dude that says, well, I don't believe it was 18 dynasties. I think it was 2 dynasties. Mm-hmm. I don't really give a fuck about you, dude. I'm out of here. I'm going to go build some shit. Right? And as well as a white man can't walk up to me like, what are you nigga doing? And I'm ready to lose my whole family behind him. Because like, dude, you obviously a weak dude to use that phrase. I'm not taking the bait. Right? The white dudes I may fight is my competitors in my market. And they bring the heat, I bring the heat. And I understand that people have a bias towards people they're comfortable with because that's how that's a systemic racism. My job is to use that systemic racism in my favor. Mm-hmm. How do I flip systemic racism and turn it into a checkmate? Yeah, you call check, but I'm about to call checkmate. Keep going.
You probably have more than one shared map that you use to navigate different areas of your life. One that you share with your family, one you share with friends, another one you share with coworkers.
Next slide.
These shared maps are useful because they allow us to do things together based on shared assumptions.
So by the way, the same culture that has beliefs also has a lot of our happiness and joys and best memories. Let me be very clear. This is why you have to be able to separate that space. I don't miss because I recreated it. But I love my whole childhood. All the barbecue ribs, pork ribs, sorry, Farrakhan. Pork ribs, right? I love all the shit talking. Auntie smoking her cigarette, talking shit, even though it killed her cancer. Shit was so funny, right? Uncle was always drunk, but he was hella nice to kids, but talked so much shit. and never knew he was as drunk as he was. I love all that shit. All the old school cars that was fucking up our lungs. I love all that shit. I love it. I got 10-inch woofers in my Harley. I still love my motherfucking beat, right? But I know if it's not working for me to let it go. That's the difference. But I love so much shit about black culture. I still love the energy of being a hood barbershop over being with square black people. I just do. If I'm in a hood barbershop, I'm in the best place of my life. The jokes, the conversations, it is fun. I don't need to believe nothing they're saying. That shit just be funny as fuck. I get around black squares sometimes and be like, wrap it up. just wrap it up. Because sometimes they express too much self-hatred. I'm out. Right? Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. I could be around certain type of squares who are like if I was around high-performing cats who are processing life, I would love it, right? But I also love the hood experience. I'm just keeping it real. That's who the fuck I am. But I also know how to draw lines. And saying, because you have multiple beliefs, like I went to multiple belief systems, I can hang out with my family, go to a family reunion, love on them. My family can cook their ass off, enjoy that amazing food. Hear shit I 100% disagree with and not even challenge one of it, just smile. And keep eating the food and give them hugs, play some donos, talk that shit at the dono table, leave, still love them, and let their beliefs just be their beliefs. Mm-hmm. That's it. I don't hate on, I'm not into like black separations. I love variations of my black family, and I don't agree with 70% of my black family. But I love them. That's it. That's the game we playing. We're not playing the game of perfection. Perfection will have you fucked up and once again be isolated by yourself. Keep going.
They are also efficient because they save us from asking questions all the time.
So a lot of our assumptions come from culture. Keep going.
So we can get on with our work. Mm-hmm. But a shared map also has some dangers, especially when, over time, the map begins to get out of sync with what's really going on. Mm-hmm. And the longer a group of people have been operating with a shared map, the more likely there will be a mismatch between the map and reality.
The more you over-anchor in culture over reality, at some point your culture gets disconnected from reality. I'm pro-black, but I'm not anchored in black. No, you're not gonna see me like, I get me some white women. I don't care. Like that's not what I'm suggesting. Because I know some of y'all like, see, he's talking. No, I'm not talking that. What I'm arguing is this. Just because it's black don't mean I'm gonna do it. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of hip hop, I don't agree with. There's a lot of hip hop I don't agree with, and it's black, right? Black came from hip hop culture. I don't agree with a lot of that shit. I can do that because at some point, look, when hip hop first started, think about when hip hop first started. It was, hey y'all, I want to express what we're not being seen. NWA, nobody's seeing the crack. We're gonna tell you the truth. Mm-hmm. Can you necessarily say every album after that sounded like that? At the same position? No. Culture can get to a point when culture is just the map of reality. Be careful when you let culture get you to the point where you're no longer engaging in reality. It can happen so fast, it'll make your nose bleed and it will feel like real. It'll feel real to you. It feels so real. When LeBron said, no man should be able to talk about my child and cut him off and not want to talk to him and ask like, hey man, where are you coming from? His cultural belief is greater than his reality. John Morant the other day went like this in the middle of a game. Ooh. Right? Now, I don't think he meant anything like he was pointing the gun. You know, y'all know from the he didn't mean that. He might have been like, yeah, I got your ass. But he used a cultural expression to say, I got your ass, especially, you know, them boys out there don't be bullshitting. But anyway, cultural expression saying, I got your ass. He's losing money behind over-anchored. Like at some point, dude, understand what is your position in this world? If you're running your own company and you still trying to be out there wilding out, does culture matter more? That's why you'll never see me at certain clubs and certain spots, or you'll never see me like, bitch, what you said to me? Or, man, I'll knock your motherfucker. That's cultural shit. Draymond Green said, if a man said that to you, just usually put some hands on them. Yeah, but Draymond Green, you not that. What the fuck you talking? Why'd you even bring that up? You're not part of the culture. Like, you're at a different level in the culture. Right? That's like Farrakhan be like, yeah, man, last night I was with these bitches and shit. So I told him, assalamu alaikum and shit. You'd be like, what the hell is going? If LeBron James drinks some of that Kanye West medicine, what the fuck? Right? Like, there's a point. Like, you got to know where you sit. When do you say to yourself, I know the coach is going this way, but because I'm a business owner, because I'm scaling my company, I'm going that way. Mm-hmm. I know women are doing this, but as a woman who's building, as a powerful woman, I'm going that way. You can't get to do what everybody do, and you want to do this shit over here that we doing. We don't get to be pure culture. We have a connection to the culture, but we make decisions every day. Y'all going this way, we're going that way. Even within your business, your employees gonna have a culture. You don't get to hang out with your employees and be with the culture like them. You're not part of that culture. Let me show you a strategy. Your staff is working on a strategy for how to move a company a certain kind of way internally. You need to shut the fuck up. You say, why do you mean I need to shut the fuck up? Because when you speak, you don't realize you're going to change the whole dynamics of the room. In order for you to get a pure strategy from your team, sometimes you got to let them just let the idea just unfold in its pureness. And then once the idea is unfolded, you can have a conversation. But if you speak at the beginning of that meeting, you don't realize you're not part of that culture. You're not. You got to know this. When are you part of the culture and when do you separate? Which for some people, anytime you separate from culture, it's a sin. Y'all know what I'm talking about. We use it, we weaponize it all the time. You ain't black. Mm-hmm. You ain't. Like, there's black people who done hella shit for black folks, but because they don't sound like folks from the South or from East Oakland, they ain't black. But this motherfucker done hella shit he didn't have to. Like, what's the dude that wear the dresses? Who? Say a lot of y'all. It's like Tyler Perry. He's done hella shit for black folks. He doesn't get none of his recognition. Let's just keep it like, you don't. If somebody's just for black people, do you need them to be perfect or do you just need them to show up? Some of y'all be like, but remember that one time he wore a dress? Okay, I get it. You're not with men wearing a dress. That's cool. But have you seen all the shit he does for black folks? Mm-hmm. Like at some point.
Is he wearing a dress while he doing it?
Like, man, keep going, Shibi. I'm done. Let's finish. Did we finish that one?
No.
Let's finish. Go back. Just finish this one.
Oh, we finished that one. Yes,
Okay,
we're on this.
let's read this last slide and we out. Let's the last slide, we out.
People like stability. Once a group of people has formed a belief, they will tend to reinforce it in a way that creates blind spots to alternative beliefs.
So, business, I'm going to say something to you folks. You don't need to believe me. You can even say, fuck that dude. But let these words stay in your mind until they see themselves and prove me wrong. A rich business culture is not aligned with black culture. I'm going to tell you this. For somebody who's walking this path and got hit in the stomach, am I lying? No. We get hit in the stomach all the time. A lot of my beliefs my mama gave me, my grandmother gave me, my father gave me, my uncles gave me, my aunties gave me, my community gave me, my school gave me, the teachers gave me, my first job gave me, don't align with building your own business. If you're constantly reaching back going, I don't believe what the fuck he said, you don't realize that is the problem. The way, it's not about, okay, I'm not asking you to believe me. That's some occult shit. I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm asking you to test your own beliefs and test my beliefs. Test your beliefs. That's simple. Just go test your fucking beliefs. Some of you guys are so ready to fight everybody, have never tested your belief. Like I ask you all the time, the white man that makes you whisper when you say, white people. They don't, white people often don't. You see black people, they lower their voice. Because the other day I was working with these white people. And they was, I always say to myself, can y'all show me the white person that could have heard you with your regular voice? Right? It's so programmed in our mind. We think, okay, did y'all notice that when 9/11 happened, they couldn't even call each other? OPD just recently told you we working on our communication. I don't know if I did a ride along with OPD. Their car radios ain't all that. Right? Y'all swear to God, if you give a phone call and say, hey, we're going to have to build a business, but let's keep it between us because I don't want white people to find out. What white people are listening to your broke ass phone call with a bank account that's almost $20? I've seen this shit as real as day. I've seen somebody, I can't call no names. I won't even give a reference to anything close. But when one of the parents died, somebody said, I think the wife was part of the CIA and was poisoning this person. That's why this person died. Black people said this. It's that deep in our culture. So why is that important? You start your business, are you starting it high or are you starting it low? This is where I'm going with this. Are you playing the game safe because you don't think you can get in the game? Or are you playing the game strong as you can because you see, you look at the top of the mountain. Like you literally see the top of Mount Shasta when you start your business, as opposed to, if I could just get up this hill. If I could just do better than them. Are you looking backwards in comparison? Or are you looking at somebody in front of you and chasing them? How are you approaching this game of business? Are you approaching this business where the people that you model after got just enough and they made it and they didn't go to jail? Or the people you're looking at are doing things that are unimaginable and you believe, because remember Court taught a class a little ways back that says most of your challenges are not big moves, they're small incremental moves. But you know what happens when a person's making small incremental moves for years? It looks humongous. It really is insurmountable. It looks crazy out of this world. Even though the person's making one small step at a time. I remember I used to go hiking and I would be hiking for like 2 hours and I'm hiking uphill. And I finally turn around and look back and I'd be like, I know goddamn well I didn't walk that far. Mm. But it was just one step at a time. And in that each step, I wasn't going, this shit crazy. Oh my God. If one more step, if I take 2 more, you think I'm gonna die? Okay, then go 3. Like, it wasn't that, I was like, do. Ain't gonna be no goddamn lions out here. Do. I got my gun on me. I shoot any motherfucker. That's really how I be thinking. I'm not that force-seed motherfucker. Like, if I go camping, I'm loaded. I'm like, look, you would have on me. I'm sorry. You should have made an announcement. I'm sorry. I'm just not the force. I tell my wife, my form of camping, let's park outside the hotel. Let's sit in the car for a little while. Let's eat our sandwiches. Let's go back in that motherfucker, right? So that's just me. I think camping is beautiful. I'm just never been that type of dude. But anyway, but damn, I just lost myself again. But in our goals for businesses, are we shrinking our possibilities? Are we even discounting certain acts because we bought into the group beliefs? Are we even, like, we read a book that's complex and start reading it and look for the easier book? Have we over leveraged hustling over long-term growth? Like, think about this game. Have we over leveraged fast responses and quick wins and Facebook stories over the day-to-day hard work because we feel like it's hopeless anyway deep down inside? This is so fucking important. Like, this is a soul searching. Like, this whole class was priming us for, at the end of this class, I need you to soul search for a minute and say, am I living within my limitations or am I living within my dreams? Or have your dreams become a victim of your limits? And don't make it a negative thing. Realize it came through pipelines of love, help, good intentions, people that look just like you, TV, music, movies, examples over and over and over again. They all lied to you, but they all thought they were telling you the truth. And I'm telling you, for somebody who's out here, if you get your ass out of here, if you don't do this story work, every time you feel resistance and you can't see your way out, it's easy for you to default to those stories. Mm-hmm. And then the stories become how you play this game. And you play small, you play short. Even when you go into negotiation and you ask for the money, I got a client right now, they want us to do a $2 million project. I was like, Mashama, tell me before we get started, I need $500,000 before we get started. I don't even want to do this shit, because at least $500,000 at the table. If you met me 8 years ago, I wouldn't have said that. No, 10 years ago, I wouldn't have said that. I've been in business 19 years. 10 years ago, I'd be like, if you think they be comfortable with $100,000, you know what was happening? My belief said, you're not worth $500,000, bro. Why would they give you $500,000? Some of you guys will even. Then some of you guys were like the hustlers. Like my nephew, I got a nephew who's a hustler to his highest level. He'll ask for $500,000. No, he don't deserve it at all. Because he's like, well, now let's say ask for it. No, there's stuff you have to do to earn the right to ask for that kind of money. But what I'm suggesting to you is that how you move to this world. I used to interview I used to be a .com director. By the way, no education, no background in IT, and I became an IT director. And I was making almost $120,000 a year when $120,000 was like $200,000 a year back then as an IT director. My mentor told me, if you get a job that's above your weight, I guess these next 3 or 4 weekends, I know what you're gonna be doing. So guess what I did? I locked down, I started studying, ran the fuck out of the department, right? But I had to hire engineers. I would watch this shit happen like it was almost like a movie play. A black person walked through the door and they'd be like, yo, if I could just get like 40,000, 60,000, 70,000. White folks be like, you can't give me 120, 160, I don't even want to have this conversation. One person had a story that says, you're worth this. Other person had a story that says, you're lucky if you get this. Many of you guys are trapped in these corrupted ass beliefs. So even when I'm talking to this class, you'll start saying, now that's for you, that's your, it's not, when you say, no, that works for you, you just told on yourself. Because what you just told me is, this is all I think I can do. So if it's working for you, it's obviously working for you because, you and something else that happened for you. But my belief says this is it for me. Many of us, even, do you realize that the gangster behavior is a mass acceptance of a limiting belief? I'm gonna say it again. Gangster behavior is a mass acceptance of limiting beliefs. Only reason you're a gangster because you realize the top is gonna fail you. You know what gangs come from? It's when the top fails them. They go find some other place to find love, some other place to find value. When you believe the top is not reachable, you go where it is reachable for you. That's all it is. When a dope dealer told me in the 90s, I'm doing this because I feed my family, that's the only way you can feed your family? In their beliefs, yes. Some of you guys are descendants of those fathers who said, I'm doing this to feed my family today. Some of y'all born in the 80s and 90s. And don't realize that limiting belief has been passed to you, and now you just walk around with this, I don't give a fuck these people, I don't give a shit, whatever, I just take care of myself. That's all a belief that's reinforced by the culture. And then when you listen to hip hop, all you hear in hip hop is the reinforcement of these beliefs. And that's why you feel validated, because that's what the group says. This is black culture. We don't give a fuck, whatever. We spend money on shit that don't make sense not because we stupid. Don't call people stupid. That's disrespectful. If your belief makes that normal, if that's your norm, that's your norm. I see these young dudes buying girls cars now. I'm like, okay, I don't know when this shit happened, but that's the belief system that them cats are trapped in. It's not real. The women say, I'll take it, fuck it. You gonna buy this nice Benz, I'll take the shit. But that's a belief limitation. It's happening from corporate America. I see black people in corporate America all the time. Yeah, these white people don't like me. They don't even give a fuck about you. They really don't. And if they're competing with you, it's because you're threatening their position. That's it. And then they realize all I have to do is call you a black woman and you'll collapse. Black woman, black woman, black woman, black woman, black woman. Oh, I hate this racist ass place. I'm gonna find me a job. I'm gonna work for a nonprofit where they accept me. Beliefs. Go home, just process your own personal beliefs, because next week we're gonna go to the next level. But when you process your beliefs, ask yourself, is your life a result of your dreams or your limiting beliefs? Out.